Hi YouTube, welcome in. Love is Blind application failed. That sucks. We took too long doing it. So now we're on to part 2 of today's stream. This is part 1 or a different video for you guys. But it's my Europe recap. So if you're at all interested in that, the stories, the pictures, what I got up to, some history, the food, maybe some more interesting details, you can watch this. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys, YouTube. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for watching Pokemon. Thank you for watching Road to Emperors. Thank you for watching Dark Souls. Thank you for watching anything. And we got Pragmatic coming up, the dad simulator. I can't wait to do that. Now we're into Europe. Hey, what's up, Baboom? Yeah, the comical bad chat applies Adam for Love is Blind application form. We got timed out because we took too long. So all that information's gone. I didn't save it. So now, in honor of you, I'll probably fill it out offline accurately as a real person to get myself on the show if we're able to. Good thing they can't see Twitch chat. I mean, they can see it sometimes. I mean, I could always switch screens, but I don't really have a... Does chat want to be on screen for this? I could throw you guys on screen somehow, I'm sure. Anyway, we'll turn the music down just a pinch more. There's a couple videos in this too. I don't want to have like audio poo-poo. Or good thing they can't see Twitch chat because then they could see you guys making fun of me and YouTube would think I'm not as cool. That's entirely possible. Oh, Snake Boy's taking shots at YouTube now. Anyway. Maybe I'll turn the music off for this. Nah, I want some music on. That way, whenever there's dead air, there's something on. Anyway, let's talk about Europe, guys. So, I left from Edmonton. This is what it looks like leaving the Edmonton International Airport. I had a window seat. I always get window seats. And I flew on KLM. Which is actually, guys, as far as intercontinental flights go, I quite like KLM. Quite like KLM. The seats were nice and comfortable. The seats were big. The media selection was really, really good. The meals, as far as plain food goes, this is like inside, you know, the plain food subcategory and you're not sitting in first class or business class. Honestly, it was pretty good plain food. So... there's not much hating on that. Europe is near Tennessee. Yes, it's actually it's 100 miles away from Tennessee. I haven't flown Air Canada Intercontinental before, Petito, but in my personal opinion, I will take Air Canada any day of the week over WestJet. I know a lot of people love themselves some WestJet. I don't. WestJet, poopy-doo-doo for this guy here. Although WestJet, if you want to give me some free flights and prove to me that you guys can't be poopy doo doo and you can be as good as KLM, by all means, I ain't stopping you. Please do. So, Kevin, that question gets us here. So, I flew KLM direct into Amsterdam, where I had this very lovely lunch of pickle, tomato, and spinach salad. With a very nice kind of Dijon dressing. And then I had some Dutch croquettes. That was my first meal in Europe. They were delicious. One thing I will give credit to the Europeans on is they don't use oil all the time for their deep frying. A lot of restaurants will use beef tallow. And beef tallow is quite good. Quite good. Also, another perk about flying KLM, their app is really easy to use. The KLM app is really easy to use. And it has live baggage tracking. So you can actually see, oh, my bag is still on the plane. Oh, now it's being transported to the carousel, or my bag has been loaded. And I also had the Apple AirTags in my suitcases, and I was checking it, and the Apple AirTags were on cue, on point, synced up with the KLM app. So the KLM app was actually very, very good. And then I got myself into Zurich. And this is one of the first things you see in Zurich, basically, is like, just you come out of the airport, I hop on a train, go into Central Station, and you just see old stuff, man. It's so nice in Europe. Zurich is a beautiful city. It's got the big lake. It has the river canal, or I guess it's not a canal, it's a river. It comes through town, and you're just seeing all this gorgeous old stuff. It's so clean in Switzerland, guys. It's so clean. It's so nice. Like, this is just what you can look at every single day. I absolutely adore it there. It's so great. Although, you know what a weird thing is about Switzerland, guys? And actually most of Europe, because I was in Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. You know what's really weird about those countries? They fucking love Burger King. I don't have any pictures of the Burger King, but they fucking love Burger King. Burger King is everywhere. The way that, like, you know, you can drive 10 blocks and see 3 McDonald's, you can go 10 blocks and see 4 Burger Kings. It's nuts. No, I've seen lots of rivers before, man, but I've never really seen rivers outside of Europe. You never see them like this, where the city's built up to them. They're maintained, they're clean, they're just so nice. They maintain the old infrastructure, they maintain the personality of the cities. I saw wild swans all over Europe, man. Buddy, I would love it if KLM sponsored me. I had nothing but good things to say about my experience flying KLM. How often can you say that about an airline? Like, wild swans everywhere was really cool. Just like, and the other neat thing about Zurich, and this is really all of Switzerland, the trees are just built into the city like this, which is kind of amazing. And the way that they repurpose these buildings. So, like, all these buildings here were built in, like, the 1600s. And they were built for the different castes, like the masons, the fishermen, barley farmers at that. They would each build their own house, and that was where you would discuss trade prices and licenses and stuff like that. It was all really, really neat. Got this cool picture of a bird with his wings out. That was neat. So this picture was actually taken at the top of an old Roman fort, which had been since demolished. But the Romans built it on top of this hill in Zurich to, like, flex on the citizens of Zurich way back in the day. Look at us up on the hill, we're so cool. And then Zurich overthrew them and kicked them the fuck out. Now I have a question, guys. What do you think this pole is? This pole that we're looking at here. I'd really like to know what you guys think this pole is for. Because I couldn't guess it. And then my tour guide told us. Fire exit? No. It's a little too narrow to be a fire exit. You know what I mean? Like, how is grandma or even a guy my size supposed to get down that on a fire exit? Rain sounds? Ooh, Snake Boy, you're pretty close. Stairs for squirrels. Not quite. Not birds. Come on, guys. Cats is right! So you'll see these towers around Zurich and these apartment buildings. And it's so that if you have a cat on that window there and you live in that floor, your cat can hop onto the pillar and use the cat ladder and just go roam. It's fucking cool, dude. It's so cool. It was so cool. You know? Like, that was one of the neat things that I learned on the walking tour. And actually, the walking tours I found to be very, very informative and very interesting. And also just a good way to get steps in, see things and hear things, you know what I mean? You get to learn about all the occupations and all the old schools and old churches and stuff like that. Oh, Athens has tons of cat culture. It's very, very cool. So I believe this is it. This is the largest clock face in Europe. Bigger than Big Ben. The tower is not, but the clock face on this church is bigger than Big Ben. And I want you guys to also guess what you think these windows were used for. And I'll be right back in 1 second. I gotta grab something. They were for Quasimodo. Not quite. Big white clock. Yes, it is. What do you think these windows were used for? Maybe what was Quasimodo doing up there? Or what was he historically should he have been doing? Smoke? No, not quite smoke. But you're on the right track with smoke. You're getting hot with that answer. Ringing the bells? Nope, this is above the bells. Cleaning the clock? Nope, this is above. Although you could use it to clean the clock, yes. But that's not what they were for. Okay. If someone doesn't guess it right, I'm just going to tell you. Attic? Not quite, Haley. Snipers? Not quite. So that was where the fire watch used to sit. So that's why in all these old buildings, in the old towers, you see tiny windows up top. So there's a room up there, and it was some guy's job to be in that room and be looking out over town. And if you ever see smoke, then you sound the different bell, which then notifies that there's a fire and a building is going up. So that was how they did fire alarms back in the day. That's something I had no idea. I was just like, I don't know, fucking windows for looking out, right? I don't know. So I thought that was actually really neat. Cool thing to learn. More beauty of Zurich. Lenin lived briefly in Zurich, we found out. He lived in this apartment building when he was briefly escaping Russia for being a revolutionary. And he also hated living here. And the reason he hated living here is because he was in, I believe, what's supposed to be this window here. Now it's like, it's closed off. I don't think it's an active condo unit anymore. I think they repurposed it into something else. But below him on the ground floor down here was a butcher shop. And they didn't have really good plumbing back then or really good refrigeration. So if you lived above a butcher shop, you were smelling the smells of a 1915 butcher shop all the time. And so, yeah, apparently him and his wife fucking hated living there. There's this cool manor. This is another thing I just thought was neat. One, all these fountains, completely clean drinking water. So that's cool. You could just walk up to them, stick your hands out. You'd see some people just stick their mouth on there, or just refill your water. But this was like some old villa that some rich guy built in the middle of town because he wanted to live there. And the building has just stayed up all this time. And people still live there. Close-up of a swan I saw. That's a better picture of the swan right there. Another different clock face. And this one didn't have the windows above the clock. Because this was a different kind of... I can't remember why they said this one didn't. I think the guy lived in this one and he was supposed to do double duty, but not above the clock tower this time. This was a carbonara I had, guys, which was so fucking good. I swear to God, Jesus Christ might have made this carbonara. It was such a good dish. Oh my God, the food in Europe, man. Unbelievable. Something else also about Zurich, I don't know if I have any other city picks. Here's a really nice gelato. I had gelato almost every day in Zurich as well. This carbonara, man. Oh, so good. There's coffee. Oh, European breakfasts. Dude, if I could eat this breakfast every day of my life, I absolutely would. Take a look at that. Fresh fruit, fresh cheese, honey, bread, croissant, jam, fresh squeezed orange juice, coffee, and then muesli with fresh fruit, which is similar to porridge, but kind of different. Oh my God, dude. Look at that breakfast. And that's kind of what I would have most mornings, would be something very similar to this. Fucking adore it, miss it. There's just some balls in Lake Zurich. There's a boat. Don't know why I took that picture. More balls. Hey, there's me taking a divorced dad style selfie. But something that's neat, I don't know if I have any pictures of the university. Guess how much tuition is at the top university in Zurich, guys? I want you to guess how much tuition is. We'll do that stuff later, Kevin and Haley. $500? Nick, that's actually not the worst guess I've ever heard. $3,000? Snake Boy, you're getting closer. My cock, you went too high. Basically split the difference between you and Snake Boy. 6,000 Swiss francs is the average tuition to go to the top university in Zurich. 6,000 Swiss francs. That's less than I paid in Canada to go to the post-secondary that I went to. And that gets you into the top. Now, that's probably like first year entry level stuff, but nonetheless. How much is that in freedom units? $4,800 probably, give or take. In freedom? No, it would be more. No, it'd be more. Less? I don't know. I don't know what a freedom unit converts to in Swiss francs. But close to 5? Okay, close to 5. Yeah, and that's a big thing, is they actually go, no, we have to have tuition low, otherwise the people aren't going to be smart. We don't want to have a stupid populace. And when you just hear the people talk so casually about concepts like that in Europe, you're just like, yeah, no shit, that makes amazing sense. And so, like I said, to go to, like, the top university in Zurich. Well, there's just another great view of all these old villas on the hillside looking out across the lake. You can see the Swiss Alps. View of the Swiss Alps here. Like, the natural beauty in Switzerland, man. And it is the cleanest country I've ever been. It was unbelievable. Also, you know what else was neat? In Zurich, well, this is actually most of Switzerland. The cleanest public bathrooms you've ever seen. They don't charge you €1 to use them. Netherlands, Brussels, Germany all would charge you like €1 to use the public bathroom. Zurich, they were free and they were so fucking clean, dude. It was crazy. This is a mural that was painted about two saints that were killed by the Romans. Kind of hardcore stuff. The Romans hated them, chopped their heads off, and the story goes that the decapitated bodies picked up the heads and walked up the hill in defiance of being decapitated by the Romans. I think this was the mural where the guy's dragging the guy to the guillotine. Here's a picture of me with a statue that has its wiener out, which I just thought was kind of funny. He's just got a guy taming a bull, and he's got his wiener and balls and pubes all out. And I was like, this is funny. I'm so mature. Also, just boat rides on Lake Zurich were nuts, man. One of the weird things about Zurich, though, and this is actually, I found actually not just Zurich, sorry, all of Europe, everybody fucking smokes cigarettes, dude. Cigarette smoking never went out of fashion. It's not taboo. It's just super normal over there. The airports have smoking lounges, restaurants, like you can smoke on the patios and nobody gives a shit. Like smoking is just so normal. The bus stations have smoking lounges. It's just the most normal shit in the world there. Maybe they have less tar. I don't know. I just think the people don't give a fuck. Because they just... And the thing is, too, I remember so many times walking out and walking the street and smelling the stinkiest cigarette I've ever smelled in my life. Turn around, look who's smoking it. Either an incredibly hot dude or an incredibly hot woman. Like, every hot person in Europe was a smoker, basically. And it was making me go like, fuck, should I start smoking? You also got the Lindt Home of Chocolate Factory and Museum, which is pretty neat. It's just right there in Zurich. It's the building they've been in for a very long time. Not the original building, but they've been in there a million years. They got this giant fountain in the middle. That's all liquid chocolate. From here up to there is just all permanently running liquid chocolate. And the smell of the whole place is just chocolate. It's heaven for a guy like me. Watch Chain Smoker Cat and you won't want to smoke? I know. Here's the thing. I don't actually want to smoke. But like I said, when you're in Europe, you see all these hot people smoking cigarettes. You're like, fuck. I feel like I should get in on that. You know what I mean? This was an ancient whisk that they had restored. I can't imagine using this to whip up chocolate, but that's what they used back in the day. And this white chocolate fountain, maybe it is honestly probably a diet suppressant. Probably one of the reasons everybody's so skinny. Also the fact that you can walk everywhere or ride bikes. This white chocolate fountain, dude, I could have sat there all day eating white chocolate. It was so good. It was warm. You would, that little pump here, you would just stick a little spoon under it, pump out some white chocolate, dip it in it, and I sat there. I must have done that like 10 times. I could have sat there all day. Went over to the FIFA museum. It was kind of neat. FC Bayern, Alphonso Davies, Canada soccer jersey. Although I would say the FIFA museum's a little bit disappointing. And you see I only have a couple pictures because it really is just like the exhibits were pretty minimal. It wasn't really like a big history of soccer museum, which is what I wanted. So it was really just like, we played the World Cup in 1908, and then we played the World Cup in 1912, and then we played the World Cup in 1916. And that's all it really was. I was like, this really isn't that cool. Like, there was some neat history to it. This ugly-ass angel's in the train station and it's supposed to, like, protect travelers. But I just think it's ugly as sin. Does that look like an angel to you that's going to protect people? I don't think so. It actually kind of does look like a persona. You know what? Maybe I'm changing my mind on it. It does kind of look like it could be a persona. I don't know if Persona's that big in Zurich, but when that's just in the middle of the train station, man, I love just the architecture there. Like, look at the windows, look at the sculpting. Unbelievable. Baked spatula, unbelievable. It's basically a baked pasta dish. So yummy. Ordered this entire meal in German, which was really cool. I was able to speak my Deutsch over there. This is roasty, which is basically a shredded potato pancake, and then you can either top it at dinner time with more dinner time things, or like I had it for breakfast here. They have these cats in Zurich too, which was kind of funny. This was in the French Quarter again, just more architecture. You can blow through this. Another lake tour, more lake tour. The crazy thing actually about this kind of food, guys, it's so filling and it's so clean and pure that, like, I was eating 2 meals a day. That's it. And I was walking an average of like 22,000 steps a day while I was in Europe. And it was just because that food was like so clean and so pure. It was unbelievable. There was a dude in Zurich who was standing in a window and I actually thought he was a mannequin because he was dressed so funky. I thought he was some kind of fashion mannequin. And then he moved and I realized he wasn't a mannequin. I was like, oh, good thing I didn't take a picture of a stranger. Then again, just another cheese plate, unreal. And then I had this, oh God, what is it called? Nick, what's it called? Spanish rice dish with seafood and stuff in it. I'm totally fucking blanking. A paella. Yes, this was a very nice paella I had at this Italian restaurant. And also, you know what I love about the restaurants in Europe? They don't ask for a fucking tip. You can tip 0 and they don't give a shit. If you tip 5%, they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Or over here, they bring you the fucking tip machine. It starts at 20%. I'm like, woman, you poured me a drip coffee out of a pot. I'm not tipping 20%. I'm so sorry, dude. Fella, buddy, guy, lady, whoever you are. Yeah, the food quality over here is just not even close. And I could taste it immediately upon coming back, too. And I didn't even go for a bad meal. I went for a nice, good meal. And I could just tell the food quality here does not compare. Everything here is so fresh. They're so strict about it over there. Just kind of nutty. Just me having an old-fashioned at night. European hot dog. I went to a hot dog stand, guys. A hot dog stand. And got this. Does this look like a fucking hot dog to you? But that's the kind of a thing, sort, is that over there, like, you work at a restaurant, you actually get, like, a decent wage. You know, they're not, like, screwing you over. You actually get a decent wage. So they're just like, yeah, it's fine. When you tip, they always go kind of bananas for you. But this, guys, is a delicious pretzel bun that was hollowed out with a beautiful smoked bratwurst put in it and a spicy Dijon mustard. And that's what qualifies as a hot dog in Zurich. And it was delicious. I'm not saying it was bad. This was excellent. When you go to a hot dog stand and this is what they give you, I was kind of like, brother, this ain't no American hot dog. Yeah, I know, Mike Hawk. You guys in the States, America's such a weird country, man, because you are insanely first world in some ways, and then also some stuff in the States is like some insane third world dystopian bullshit. It's so fucking weird. Yeah, no, you're right, Sword. That's also true. And like I said, it's just the tipping culture and going to Europe where they don't expect any tipping. And like, you are paying a bit more for your food, but that's just the way they are doing it over there. Yeah, we used to have server minimum wage, but I don't think we really have that anymore in Canada. And then here I am flying out of Zurich. This was actually to Hamburg, which is further on in the trip. But I just thought it was really neat the way that the farm fields there are kind of however they can make them fit. Where in Canada, at least where we live, it's just a bunch of squares. So, and back to the boat. So that was Zurich, guys. Any questions about Zurich? We can move on to Interlaken, which is much more, which was a really fun place to go too. Oh, where do we start? Start here. Didn't care for the meat. You know what? I would say this. Some of the beef I had over there wasn't super duper. But I did find that like chicken and fish and stuff like that actually was quite super duper. Here we are again in the countryside. This was a view from the train ride, dude, and this is one of the reasons to take trains. I paid $1,200 for a 3-week first class train pass. You don't even have to pay for the first class one. You can get it cheaper. I wanted access to the comfort while I was on the trains, the plugins and the food car and stuff like that. But imagine just taking a train and you're seeing this, man. It's just unbelievable. The cheese did have holes in Switzerland. Yes, you could get Swiss cheese. Crazy. Crazy. No, but just looking at this is just sitting on a train and this is your view. And it's just, guys, I can't say enough good things about Switzerland. Amazing over there. No, they still call it Swiss cheese. Still call it Swiss cheese. The same way Americans still call it American cheese. You're talking about like singles and stuff like that. I have more pictures than I'm showing, but the thing is, I didn't want to show you guys like 1,200 pictures, so I kind of went through and skimmed out more ones that I felt were more notable-ish. This is the river in Interlaken. So Interlaken is a city that's up in the Swiss Alps, or a town that's up in the Swiss Alps. So the water there is just that insane, picturesque Bob Ross light blue color everywhere. This is the river that's feeding between both lakes. It's unbelievable. You could drink it. This is a picture of Interlaken. You can't quite see it, but on either side here is where the lakes are. And you can see that. This is the town, just built in the middle here. It's gorgeous. Just this trees and this beautiful greenery all around it, up into the snow-capped Swiss Alps. And then up in this area over here, I think is how you get to a ski hill, which in winter would be pretty cool. There's kind of a view of the one lake from where I was. I went up, it's called the Harder Kulm. It's a funicular that takes you up, and then you can kind of have a mountain view down. There's the other lake. Again, just look at that color. It's unbelievable. Look at that. So nice. There's a slightly better picture of the other side. But do they do yodeling? I don't know. I didn't hear anybody yodeling while I was over there. Oh, Nicholas. There's a better view of the river as it goes through town. And I was staying, my hotel would have been this one right here. This building right here. Right about in here. That was my hotel. Somewhere in this block. So I kind of stayed in the action when I was over in here. There I am taking another divorced dad selfie. Up top the viewing peak. There I am smiling in my divorced dad selfie. Because I had no one to take pictures of me. And people were kind of weird about that, which is something I didn't understand. Like, if you were to hand your phone to someone, hey, you can take a picture of me, they would take like a panic photo really quick and before you were even ready, and then be giving your phone back to you. I'm like, yo, bro, like, take a second. You know what I mean? You can kind of see how I was dressing on the trip, and everybody said that I fit into European fashion. It is quite a good picture of me, though. You can also just get beer everywhere, dude, in Europe, and they don't fucking care. I don't know how to say this. They're just like, yeah, here's a beer. Go sit wherever and drink that beer. Just don't smash the bottle on the ground. Dispose of it properly. There's so much trust that you're not going to ruin things in so many of these European cities, man. It's like so refreshing to be treated like an adult and not like you're an idiot criminal. All right, sounds good, my cock. But yeah, it was really cool. More beer on the boat. Again, just look at that water. It's picturesque. Like, it's unbelievable. I couldn't get enough of it. I almost felt like I was in Lord of the Rings or something, you know? What am I selfies at the same angle? Because I don't know how else to take a selfie. I hold out my phone to take a selfie. There's this old castle built up in the trees again. Just awesome stuff to see. Little waterfall coming down. Just again, the blue water is just mesmerizing. Also, this dock. So something that I thought was kind of weird about Zurich, or not Zurich, sorry, Interlaken, full of Korean tourists. I couldn't figure out why. And then the tour guide on the boat said that this dock and this area of Switzerland was used to shoot a very famous Korean movie or TV series for Netflix, something like that. And then at some point in the show, there's someone playing a piano on this, and it's like a super emotional scene. So like these tourists that you can kind of see here, most of them were Koreans, and they were all coming out here and taking their picture where this famous scene in this Korean media happened. So I thought that was pretty neat. It was called, oh, what was it called? Where's my cell phone? I don't even know where my phone is. A vet told me what it was called. I don't remember. Began with a C. I don't remember. Anyway, if you look up Switzerland Korean TV show Netflix, it'll come up. This was kind of trippy, man. This highway, the way it was built coming out the side of the mountain, I looked at that and I was like, whew, I got a little spooked looking at that. They weren't secret Koreans, Nick. They were very outwardly Koreans. This is some 5-star resort on the lake, and again, I just couldn't get enough of the nature, man. It's just unbelievable there. It's just so cool having both lakes. You can get one pass that gives you both boat rides. You can ride it unlimited. Go indoors, outdoors, get beer, get food, get snacks, man. It is something else. It's so nice there. Just looking at everything. However, make sure you wear sunscreen, or this can happen to you. So, I fucked up. And I'll tell you how I fucked up, guys. I bought Sonnencreme. Sonnencreme. Which is sun cream. What I didn't buy was Sonnencreme. Sonnencreme. Which is sunscreen. So this dumbass was applying essentially after sun lotion to my face all day while I'm riding the boat and walking around on this beautiful 30-something degree sunny day. And ended up with a nasty, nasty sunburn. So, don't make that mistake when you go to Europe. Because also, everything's fucking expensive, especially in Switzerland. Like, a small bottle, like yay big, like 30 Swiss francs. I spent over $100 on after sun care just to get enough lotions and stuff because I was just constantly doing this for like the next week basically. That kind of stank. However, my hotel breakfast looked like this every single morning. Unbelievably good. So good. Just don't confuse things, man. No, they have sunscreen. They had it. I was in a rush to catch the boat and grabbed, like I said, Sonnencreme. Sun lotion, not sunscreen. So, but yeah, unbelievable breakfasts. Again, the bread, the meat, the cheese, it's all so fresh and good. Fresh fruit everywhere, good pickled stuff everywhere. Lovely, lovely gherkins, man. Oh, they had this like yellow, it wasn't cantaloupe. It was like a honeydew, but it was yellow. I don't know what kind of melon it was. It was delicious. Got the mortadelle with provolone on some nice rye, and most of the bread, they don't have like a lot of pre-sliced bread in a lot of these breakfast places. So if you're going to the buffet, you get to slice your own bread. Oh, unbelievable, so good. I didn't take a picture of this pizza when it was warm and when it was full because I was so hungry after the sunscreen day. But this pizza was, again, unbelievable. The Italian food in Switzerland is nuts. This was just, what is it? Salami and prosciutto and then ricotta pizza. And it was just, it went down the hatch like nothing. It was so good. So good. I saw Swiss Chalet for you Canadians. Except it's Hotel Swiss. Hotel Chalet Swiss. Yeah, and just another view into the caps. Also, there's also a farmer's field with cows in the middle of Interlaken. You can just walk up and take a look at these cows. There was like 9 of them. Super cool stuff. So this is up the mountain. And you say, Adam, what are you doing when you're going up the mountain? Well, chat, the thing I'm doing when I'm going up the mountain... Oh. Fondue, another Swiss delicious meal. Again, order in German. But Adam, why are you going to the mountain? Cause I went fucking paragliding, dude. I said fuck it to my sunburn, put on as much lotion and sunscreen as I could, and when I fucking ran down a mountain, jumped off with a parachute and a pilot. And it was fucking awesome, man. So happy. Just look at that. I don't even know how to describe the feeling. It was so much fun. If you guys have the gumption to do it, do it. And honestly, the pilot takes care of everything. He just kind of tells you, Jero, he was so good. He distracted me while he was getting ready. He was like, all right, man, start running. I was like, okay, we're running. And he says, jump. I'm like, okay, jump. And then pulls us up and away we go. And then, yeah, just going around the skies. You couldn't take the smile off my face, man. It was unbelievable. Going over top of that, feeling like an actual bird. Coming over top the lake. I gotta put that one on the old Hinge profile.
You can get good, good
and you can hear us, we're just chatting the whole time.
Really
and which is a good way of distracting you, because what you don't ever want to do is look down, because then you're going to kind of freak the fuck out. As long as you're looking forward, it's not so bad. Yeah, just, dude, I couldn't get enough of it. It was just the best time. Favorite thing I ever did in Europe. Oh, here's a view to the lake. Put it on my application. I will when I fill up my real one. Here's more views from the mountain called the Harderkolm. And then here, Chad, is something I did not expect to see in Europe.
Fucking way.
Fucking Hooters. There are 2 Hooters in all of Europe, and they're both in Switzerland. One in Zurich, one in fucking Interlaken. I couldn't believe it. I was kind of blown away. Pictures are a bit out of order. But yeah, fucking Hooters, dude.
No fucking way.
I did not go in. I kind of poked my head in, I guess, briefly to take a look. But I was like, absolutely not. You know who was eating in the Interlaken in Zurich?
Adam, you dumbass! Pay attention!
A bunch of American-looking tourists were the only people eating at the Hooters in Interlaken. Fuck that. I was going for fondue and pizza and lovely breakfast. And I think that's everything. That's all of Interlaken, chat. Man, I love Interlaken. I could easily go back to Interlaken. Yeah. This was a point, too, where he gave the thing, and we started doing, like, roller coaster type stuff. And that was just cool, picking up the speed and going sideways with the parachute.
Yeah.
Jero was such a cool guy. He's a Spanish guy. He surfs all winter in Spain and then comes back to Switzerland in the summer and flies paraglider and stuff like that. Oh man, you cannot take the smile off my face doing that. It was so cool. Alright, we're taking a long time on this. I'll try to speed up a little bit here. Because now, guys, we are into Bern. I have less to say about Bern than I do some of the other places. Not because Bern was bad, but I just have less to say about it. Just because it was just another really cool European city. Oh, Haley, it's a Friday night. What are you stressing about? But yeah, man, Bern was also awesome. It was also the first hotel I had in air conditioning, because most places in fucking Europe do not have fucking AC. No, I did not get a Bern heel. But in Bern, I did pick up this little bear. And I'm going to take the key ring off it and put some little string on it come Christmas. And that's going to go on my Christmas tree. I guess I could show this off too. I also have a windsock for my paragliding. That's going to go on my Christmas tree. And then from Interlaken, I have a medallion for the Harder Comb, which is the mountain you went up for those views. And you can also do hikes and stuff off of it too. I just wasn't going to do that. I didn't have the footwear for it. And then in Zurich, I picked up a little bell. So all these things are going to be hanging off my tree come Christmas. And it'll be post-amble when we do that stuff. But again, just mother old architecture. These buildings, like the one tour guide said some of these buildings went back to the 1400s, which is just unbelievable. And they just get renovated and adapted. Migros is a very nice grocery store, by the way. That's the Lion of Switzerland or something like that. It's kind of a symbol of, you'll see a lot around there. Old-ass, beautiful church. And also, this was also on a walking tour. Swiss chocolate is pretty damn good. I was on a chocolate tour every day in Switzerland because I just couldn't get enough. Moses with the 10 Commandments. Now, Nobile, whatever this place is, dude, this was the best chocolate in all of Switzerland. This is better than Lindt. It was better than anywhere else I went. Better than any of the other chocolate places you can go to. If you ever go to Bern or you're in Switzerland, try to find Nobile chocolate. Nobile. So good. So good. Also, funny thing, my tour guide is in the bottom corner there. You can kind of just barely see him. He was so German. I guess he was Swiss. But he had no patience for slow walkers. He had no patience for people that were dicking around on their phones while he's talking. No patience. I kind of loved his attitude. Kind of super loved his fucking attitude. Just again, you'll get murals painted on the side of buildings. It's just crazy. And just seeing stuff like this everywhere you go. Oh, this is the river that flows kind of around Bern. And in this river is where I first saw my first set of European boobies, chat. Because in Switzerland, I think as of 1962, completely legal for women to be topless anywhere. It's okay for men to be topless. And so there was a lady down, not in this photo, but kind of down there on the river with her cans out, and she looked great. I was very happy for her. So I saw my first set of boobs in Zurich. There's the, like some government building. There's a big national bank building again. Just the architecture is kind of crazy to look at. This is an old fort that used to be outside Bern. Really cool to see. Old chainmail suit, because this was at the Einstein Museum, which had a lot of really interesting stuff. Oh, I saw more than just boobs, Kevin. We can get to that when we talk about Amsterdam. Here's a guy. This cracked me up. Because the blurb was talking about how guys used to sew fabric cocks onto their outfits to show off and be like, look how big my dick is. Even though it's just a big piece of fabric. They would sew fabric dicks onto their outfits. Also, all those fountains, guys, I think I said it, drinkable water, which was super convenient. Awesome to see. There's a Zweihander, guys. My Dark Souls sword, which I'm never going to use again because we're not playing that series ever again. Cool-ass crossbow. Dorky looking suit of armor. Not looking cool. This is actually a mug to drink out of. Well, not a mug, like a giant chalice. And just the ornate details are really something to see. This building, these are old paintings of buildings that are still there. It was just so cool. So this is that big church where I talked about my tour guide. And that means that my hotel is this building here, guys. And that's where my hotel was, in that building. Like, just crazy to see that this is what the city used to look like and how it almost hasn't changed. Kind of nutty. Another drinking chalice. This chair, you might think it was for a king. No, this is what the mayor sat in until like 1950. You were the mayor of Bern? You got to sit in that chair, dude. Now here's the other thing about a lot of these historical facts. I could be fucking wrong, because I was just listening to the tour guide. And if he's lying to me, I'm lying to you. I got no way to fact check him. It is a very nice cuck chair. Could you? I mean, if you're getting cucked but you're sitting in that chair, I don't think you can really be too upset. There's also a lot of excavation around Bern, which is cool to see. So there's lots of neat stuff like this around. Egyptian sarcophaguses for some reason. These swords are interesting. So chat, what do you think the story behind these daggers and swords are? I'm actually curious to see if you guys have any opinion on this. What do you think the history of all these weapons together are? Curious to see if anyone has a guess. Because this was kind of cool. There's not much about the types of knives and daggers and stuff. Occupation or torture? Not quite. So, would you believe me if I said there used to be sword weebs in old-timey Switzerland? In Bern specifically? Because that's true. These were all one dude's swords because he was a sword weeb. This guy here... And he would walk around town with like 50 daggers and 4 swords and all that. And that was just his thing. He would peacock around town with all those swords. So this is the guy who goes to that sword store at the mall or the sword store at the Ren Fair way, way back in the day. I don't know, 1844. 1844. And he just collected them and walk around town with half an arsenal on them. Yeah, I just thought that was funny. I thought this was cool. So they found this somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. It's in German. I don't feel like reading German. Okay. Anyway, I recognized this from Fire Emblem. I was like, wow, I can't believe those weapons are real. Turns out they are. Actually, I knew they were real. But it was just neat to see the artwork put into the weapon. So. Another question. What do you guys think this is? Curious if you guys have any guesses on what this is. Oh. Opening my window. A cape? You're actually 100% right, Nick. This is a fucking cape. But it comes up, wraps around your head at the top there, and then comes out like 3 feet on either side. And you were walking around town in this giant cape. I just thought the way these guys used to peacock was really funny. Now, this you guys won't be able to read, but we're at the Einstein Museum. What do you think this letter written by Einstein is about? What do you guys think this letter written by Einstein was about? What do you think Einstein's writing letters about? Nick, how are you so fucking good at this? Not quite his side piece, but this was a love letter that he was writing to his who would be his first wife at the time. And the funny thing too, it was not sophisticated language he was using. He was calling her like a dirty brat, how he can't wait to see her and throw her around next time they're together and stuff like that. And I was just like, yo, Einstein, really? You're just getting down bad like that in a handwritten letter? But he also probably didn't think this letter was going to be in a history museum for the rest of his years. Well, his years and many years past. So yeah, this was a dirty, essentially how Einstein would sext back in the day. It was just so funny. Also, the guy who invented goldfish crackers was Swiss. Thought that was cool. Hockey. The best gelato was all I had in Switzerland was also in Bern. Nubile, Nobile, whatever it was called. Excellent, excellent. And the lady there was also really good. I screwed up a bit of my German, and then she said try again in German to me. And I stopped and thought for a second, and it was just really nice that someone was working with me on my German while I was there. I loved it. And then when it comes down to a chat, no matter where, I didn't mean nubile, no, nobile, sorry. You said nubile earlier in chat, and it got stuck in my head. No matter where you are in the world though, chat, sometimes nothing quite fucking hits like a burger and fries, dude. There's just something about a burger and fries, and again, you can see the ashtray, because I'm sitting outside, And if you're outside, you can smoke. But man, a fucking burger and fries just hits no matter where you are in the world, dude. So good. And at this restaurant, I spoke exclusively German with the waiter. And when I asked him, how is my German? He said, it's really good. Why do you ask? I was like, oh, well, I've only been here a week. And he was really surprised. So I was like, Now, don't ask me anything more complicated than what we've discussed, because I won't know how to answer. But that was fun. There's the Einstein bench. Just another night view of Bern. Just so nice. Guys, this hotel I was staying at, the one that had air conditioning, had this free bar. Now, they said, only makes yourself one drink, but it's a free bar. You can go at it and make whatever you want. How cool is that? You would never get that over here, dude. Never. Because somebody would fucking ruin it. Someone would go down there, steal a bunch of booze, get super fucking drunk, and ruin it for everybody else. But I just would go down there each night, mix up my one drink, go back to my room, and go to bed. They also had a free ice cream freezer. Just grab one, though. And guess what I did? I grabbed one. Just so... I love the way that they treat you like an adult and not a scumbag in Europe. It's so nice. Just again, just the way, like I was saying, the trees are just in the city. Just so nice. This sandwich was amazing. It was on a ciabatta, and it was prosciutto, fresh lettuce or spinach, I don't recall which, and I think it was brie, actually, cheese. It was just so good. And while I was at this restaurant, there was a table of like 5 older dudes, and they were going between German, English, French, and Italian in their conversation. It's kind of crazy just to hear people doing that. Fish in the water. Just the cool mirrors at the Einstein Museum. When you walk in, it's really something to see. Apparently
No
Philadelphia
way, dude.
also really likes being in Switzerland. So much so they put a fucking church in here.
Way, dude.
For some goddamn reason. That's the end of all of those. Although there was some stuff at the start that we missed. Don't remember what it was, though. Oh yeah, the Bear of Bern!
Oh, the bear there.
There's 3 bears that live in the middle of Bern, and they have this nice enclosure. And yeah, you guys get to see these bears. There's the nice canal where I went and sat for a bit. Also, where you could maybe potentially see boobies for tanning. There was this panda at the market just hitting a 6'7". The kids were going nuts for this panda. And he would just go up to all the kids and hit his 6'7". So that was Bern, guys. Also, something I had while in Bern is, it's called Happy Soda. It is the best cola you've ever had in your life. It is so good. Unfortunately, by the time I was done in Bern, though, I fucking stank. I smelled so bad because it had been so hot and I burned through all my clothes that I could wear in heat. Because all I had left after that would have been, like, sweaters and shit. I wasn't putting on those sweaters. So I was running out of clothes. But it was whatever. Because then, next up was me in Hamburg. Which was here, I was here for a family reunion. So I managed to go to a laundromat while I was in Hamburg and actually wash my clothes. Because I smelled as bad as public transit by the end of that trip. Because I was just running out of t-shirts, linen shirts, button-ups, anything that could breathe. Just running out of them, man. Oh, going over there in a heat wave was not something I expected, but Hamburg, just beautiful. Love Hamburg. This is me flying into Hamburg, what it looks like when you land at the airport, which is kind of interesting. Definitely different from here, different to back anywhere else. So the hotel we stayed at was really, really cool. It was called, I don't even remember the name of it. Oh gosh, what was the name of it? But it was like Hawaiian themed, and it was a very nice hotel. Very green, very, like green as in like green energy and recyclable and stuff like that. So you got toilet paper like this, which looks like, doesn't quite look like toilet paper, it looks like paper towel. And let me tell you this, it made your butthole feel like you were wiping with paper towel too. So I could go if, you know, with them giving up a little bit on the green side, the renewable and stuff like that, if it meant having better toilet paper, because I don't like wiping my butt with paper towel. Cheap paper, feeling paper towel. Bathrooms too. Also, guys, the bathrooms in Europe are fucking small. Some of them I could not fit this desk in. I know you can't see the desk, but just picture that. We went for this church tour, so like I said, it was a family reunion. The first night was really chill. It was just meet everybody. We had a nice dinner, all that. And it's actually another thing about the hotel bar. Hotel bar worked off a karma system. They gave you a piece of paper, and you would mark down what you were drinking. And then at the end of the night, you would hand it in. And whatever you put on your sheet was what they charged you. And it was a karma bar. So, like, again, just like treating you not like you're a scumbag criminal. Like, I just love the way they would do that. And I was very accurate. I was like, I can't believe they're trusting me like this. I can just grab as many beers as I want. Yeah. I would just mark them all down. I'm like, thank you so much. I don't want to ruin this. I don't want this to get screwed up for anybody. So I'm going to be really good. Here we have Martin Luther, the saint. Because he was outside this St. Michael's Church in Hamburg, which was pretty cool to see. The church was built in like 1634. Had this really old Bible. And then the inside was just like incredibly ornate. It's been rebuilt twice, but it's been rebuilt back to the original design twice. So you just have this giant, like these giant ceilings with all these designs, the gold, the trim, everything. It's just so cool to see. This organ has over 7,000 pipes to create the sounds. And we stayed for a bit of an organ concert, which again, super, super cool. Just interesting taking in culture and history that way. There's a smaller organ they also had, which I guess they would use for like more normal things, less important things. This whole, like, I don't even know what you call it, thing at the front was just really interesting to see the way it was built and constructed. Because you can't quite tell, but this isn't painted. This was created out of painted stones. So the stones would be painted and then put into place to create this mural of, I think this is Jesus' resurrection. So, but like I said, this isn't like a painting. This was stones they painted and placed, which gave this amazing texture and look in person. I couldn't get a better picture because you weren't allowed to get to, sadly. But just super cool seeing all this old stuff. We went on a harbor tour, which was great. I had a fish brochin. Don't eat a fish brochin while you're in Hamburg. It's unseasoned herring that's just been pickled, basically, on a bun with onion and cucumber. No salt, no mayo, no butter, no mustard, no pepper. So if you can imagine how bland that sandwich was, I did not take a picture of it. Do not eat it. It looks like something straight out of Scrandle. But the Hamburg Harbor is really a cool place. It's just fun to go around. They have year-round showings of Michael Jackson, the musical, on the left, Lion King on the right. And then after this, though, guys... Oh, sorry. Then there's the Philharmonica building, which is also amazing. It's free to go in and tour. And then the actual auditorium, where they have operas and stuff, is actually fully suspended by cables inside. I didn't go to find anything from British Scrandle, man. That was just how the Germans made that sandwich. Fucking terrible. So inside this thing here, guys, or maybe it was down below. Anyway, the main auditorium where the music is played is fully suspended. The whole thing is, it's not on ground level. Because of the shape of the building and the way it's suspended, it gives like insane acoustics. But they asked us to not take pictures, so I didn't really have any pictures of it, sadly. They wanted to keep it as like a, you have to come here to see it sort of thing. But again, and it's just right on the harbor too. But then we get to the fun part of Germany, guys. The Pink Palace Sex House. Now, guys, what do you think happens in the Pink Palace Sex House? Because you can get yourself a donair. You can also go have a drink at this pub. I think Ichiban. Yeah. Yeah. That would be where Ichiban's from. And that's just on the middle of the street in Hamburg. Middle of the day. Just there. You can go in there any time of day. Get yourself a room with a lady. Or a fella. I'm sure you get a room with a fella too if you wanted. Yeah. The Pink Palace Sex House, guys. Just in the middle of the street. And then just right next, just down from it, was the Guys Club. Cheap as fuck. Satisfaction 100% guaranteed. Oh man, it's just wild. Just like they don't care. Like, yeah, people fuck. People like tits. It's just normal to them in Europe, man. It was so funny though. And I'm sure I probably looked like a weirdo, being like, oh my god, look at the sex house, look at the Guys Club. Also, I didn't get a picture of this, but while I was walking down the street, this is a street called the Reeperbahn, by the way. For the Edmonton natives, it's kind of like White Ave if it was cranked up to 10. It's a very fun party street. Very trendy, very hipster, and also very horny. There was a punk rock concert going on the sidewalk in this one place, and there was all these guys, and there was a big Antifa rally as well going on, so there's all these people in their jean vests that said Turbo Youth on them, and with their mohawks and their studs and their leather. And I was like, those are my kind of people. This is my kind of music, but I'm here by myself, and I don't really have the outfit to fit in, so I'm just going to walk on by. By the way, the Cheap as Fuck Guys Club is free to go in case you were wondering. It was also Pride Week on the Reeperbahn. So if you can think about Pride outfits that you would see at a Pride parade or during Pride displays, and then mix in some like horny German culture, I was seeing people walking around like that. It was a sight. Not for kids, I'd say. I might keep your kids away from it. But if you're over, 16... Anyway, then after that, I went to this Gothic church. Took a picture of it because I thought it was cool. Just the insane Gothic architecture, man. And how ornate and detailed it all is. Like, the photo is not doing it justice. So cool to see. That's a view. These are views from the Philharmonic building. This is called the Bunker. It was built in World War II, and now it's turned into a hotel, restaurant, and kind of party place. Greenery and stuff on it. Pretty cool. Didn't get to go there, didn't have time, but looked like a very cool place. Oh, that brings me to the football team and the hat I was talking about. This is, well, it's mirrored, but it says Hamburg St. Pauli. So this is the punk rockest football team, aka soccer, I think you're ever gonna fucking find, dude. They are so, like, LGBT, like, allies to the LGBT community, anybody who's marginalized and stuff like that. And it's just the entire identity of this soccer team that plays in the German second division. It was just so cool to see. These are some of the game posters that they make up. They have the fans make. This is the locker room, and a lot of the stickers and stuff like that are, pro-Pride and Antifa and, maybe some communist and Marxist stuff in there, but, I thought it was pretty cool. This is the hallway they walk out of when they're going out, and I can only imagine going out to a soccer game in Hamburg. I think they were the number 2 team in Hamburg. And you're in this the building is kind of old, and so the fans are right above you in this hallway, and they're playing the pump-up music, and the fans are going and singing, and you get to walk down this hallway designed like this, dude. I'd be coming out that door at the end going 110 miles an hour, ready to kick some fucking ass. It was so cool. And like a big thing with their design, as you can kind of see on the hat, is like the graffiti and things like that. Like, they would bring graffiti artists in to decorate and do professional graffiti inside the stadium. And so there's not just big gray empty walls. Graffiti artists would come in and do that. And now I was saying they're like the super left-wing punk rock kind of team. No man is illegal. They have that message right there on the middle of their stadium. And on the right side, kein Fußball den Faschisten. Football is not for fascists. And I just thought, just the entire vibe, if I lived there, this would be my team. I would be fucking rocking out with these guys. These are a couple more pictures of the stadium. Just some cool private bars that they had. And kind of the designs of them that were neat to see. Again, the beauty of the field. There's also this theme park right next to the stadium, which is also really cool. Called the Hamburger Dome. There's me, another divorced dad selfie. There's my family. Look at all of us. There's 67 of us at this event, guys. And it was really fun, and honestly, it was probably the highlight of the trip. Walking out onto the stadium. Oh man, I'm loving just talking about this. I don't even care if you guys are really listening. I'm just loving talking about this. The other cool thing about the football stadium and the team is that they price it so that it's affordable for people. Like this section here, guys, is a dedicated kids section. The seats are for, I think, what is it, 12 and under? And up on the balcony is 5 and under. And it's a daycare, so if you want to go to the game, you can drop your kids off here. And they will be supervised by, like, daycare professionals in this seating section here at the stadium. And, like, the average ticket price of the stadium was something like 25 euros or something like that. Just crazy that such a thing would exist. Because could you imagine that in North American sports, pricing things so that people could actually fucking go and enjoy it? It's absolutely nutty. There's another video of the inside of that church. Now guys, here's a night out at the bar in Hamburg. The night that I sang a little bit of Mamma Mia. You might not see me in this photo, but I guarantee you I am in this photo. If you can spot me, let me know where I am, but I'm not going to leave it up too much longer.
Schöne Scheiße.
Oh, nice little video. And that was Hamburg, guys. Another thing we did, well, because when we went out at night to the bars and stuff like that, we also went to the German red light district, which isn't the sex house or the guys club. There's a different alley that's fenced off. It's for guys only, men only. And you walk down that, there's ladies in windows, not wearing a whole lot, standing and posing and pointing, and there's big guys, security guys at the doors. And if you really wanted to, you can go up to those windows. I like her. And inside you go for a good time. Now, she might just help put you to sleep in that bed. Maybe you're really tired and she's just going to tuck you into the covers. I don't really know what happens. But you do get to pick. There's also the German S&M club we walked into. You have no photos of that. But let's just say that ancient horror devices and German S&M, a lot of crossover between the two. Oh, man. Something else that was kind of weird in Europe too, guys, is, and the pictures were taken on the Sunday night where we, all the olds just broke out their photo albums and were telling stories, which is really, really cool. But something I saw while I was in Germany, guys, that I never thought I would ever see is people getting tattoos in English. If you can mentally picture that. You know, the way that, you know, here people get tattoos in foreign languages, they were getting tattoos, German people were getting tattoos in English. I don't even know what to... I can't even just imagine. I just can't even imagine that. I really can't. It was just so weird. So after that, I went to Brussels. I know this is a lot of me talking. Look at what I did. Look what I did. But I'm having fun recounting all this, storing it online and all that, telling details. So Brussels is, and that's in Belgium. It's my first city in Belgium. Overall, guys, it was kind of a cool place. Big thing in Belgium, though, was the this comics museum. So there's this comics museum, and you think in comics, it's not really Marvel DC. It's not really manga and anime or Star Wars or whatever. It was a lot about Tintin and the kind of comics you would see in newspapers. You know? So that was kind of interesting. There's also tons and tons in Brussels of like rooftop bars and patios and restaurants, which is really cool because it allows you to look over the city. So you always have just these nice views everywhere. I also flew Hamburg to Brussels, And something that, again, is universal globally. Smell of public transit and idiots who the second the plane lands, unbuckle, get up, get their bag, and then stand in the aisle of the fucking plane. Even though, like, what? They're not gonna open the door for 10 minutes. What was the fucking rush? On my flight to Brussels, I didn't have a window. I had an aisle seat. And the guy on the window seat was, like, trying to step over top of me. And I was like, dude, what are you doing, man? The aisle is already full of every other jackass who needs to stand up immediately, grab their bags, because they think they can sprint off. Except we're going to stand here for another 10 minutes. So, like, what do you expect me to do, man? I got to wait till these people are on my fucking way. Europe might be advanced some ways, not advanced in that way, unfortunately. This is the Royal Palace. Something I will give credit to Brussels about, and the people brag about it like crazy there, is, their French fries are very good in Brussels because, again, the standard is to do them in beef tallow instead of oil. By the way, in Hamburg, I picked this up. That's going to be another Christmas ornament. Classic ship sailor wheel. I'll show you guys the one I got in Brussels in a second. Also, the showers I got in a couple of these hotels work off buttons, and I was so fucking confused. So this is how you turn it on. You press whichever button you want. And then this dial on the right controls the heat. Took me way too long to figure that. I'm kind of ashamed to admit it. This was the view from the hotel window, though. So I was looking right out at this church, right in the middle of the downtown square, which is really, really cool. Don't know if you guys will be able to guess this, if there's any what the significance of this gallery is. If anybody knows, chime in. Love to hear. I'll like grab a drink of water. It's where the boss battle happens? Not quite. I do have a story sort of relating to that. This is the first ever mall in the world. Because a mall is indoors. So this gallery was the first ever indoor shopping area in the world. And to this day, it's owned by the same family, apparently. And it's just very interesting. These upper windows, these are all condos. But they're actually very cheap condos, despite being so historical, because you don't have external air, because it's indoors. And it's also noisy as hell, so it's like only students that live there. But could you imagine being a student in Brussels and living there? I think that's pretty fucking cool, dude. But, so this shopping area was pretty bougie. Was pretty bougie. Because to have a shop in there, you have to be... your products have to be of a certain high quality. And they've actually kicked stores out where they deemed the quality had fallen off and wasn't good enough. Hey, Castro. And so I thought that was really interesting. And even though, because like I said, everything has to be high quality, not everything, it wasn't like you were paying like $200 for a box of chocolates. It wasn't happening. They actually kicked out Godiva. Because the other thing you need to be in this building is you have to be a Belgian company. And have, say, production and development and office, blah, blah, blah. And Godiva moved their production to Turkey. So Godiva also lost their Belgian chocolate certificate because of that. And then eventually Godiva came back and they make some of their chocolates in Belgium now. So they can say they're Belgium chocolates again. But most of their chocolate actually comes from Turkey. So only some of their stuff has the official Belgian stamp on it. So this is called the little... I forget the Belgian name for it, but it's called the Little Girl Piss Statue. And this was made because on the other side of town, you have the Mannequin Piss Statue, the Little Boy Piss Statue. And the Little Boy Piss Statue is like this big thing that everybody comes and sees. And so the landlord of this area built this statue because he was jealous that everyone was going and looking at the little boy piss statue, and he wanted more people to come to his shops in this area, drive more business for him. So he's like, okay, there's a little boy over there, I'm gonna build a little girl over here. And it actually worked. People actually started coming to this area to look at the little girl pee statue, but because this guy's a scumbag, as I'm sure you can assume, once the shops in this area got more business, he jacked up the rent big time on them. And the business owners that were, he was the landlord for, were so pissed about this. He came by to collect rent one day, and one of the business owners shot him dead in the middle of the street with a gun. killed him. And when the cops showed up being like, yo, who shot this guy? Everybody said, fuck, I don't know. I think he just fell over, man. I didn't see him get shot. I don't know what happened. Because they hated this guy so much. So that's the kind of guy that makes a statue of a little girl peeing. So the thing on the right, that's what I can see from my hotel window. This is the main central square. I do love that story, though. The fact that everyone hated that guy so much that when he was killed, they're just like, yeah, he's dead. You know? Yeah, that's cool. Nobody cared. This square was pretty neat to see, actually. So you can't totally tell here. But you look at this building, you think it's super ornate. Wow, what an amazing design. And then when you look closer, there's all sorts of problems. These windows don't match these windows. This pillar is off-center with the central gate. You know, these towers are actually different than the towers on the other side. And it's because whoever was ruling Belgium at the time had like 3 different architects, and they built this in 3 different stages. So even though it looks like it might be Gothic architecture, it actually isn't. It's actually slop architecture. But it's so old, what are you going to do about it? These are the cast buildings. We talked about them briefly in Zurich. Just, you know, the places you would go to, you know, get your license to sell your stuff or whatever. You know, whatever it was, or build or whatever it was. Very ornate, very cool buildings. And then now the one over here, can't really tell. Oh, you can tell. It's a Starbucks. Capitalism ruins everything. This is a proper Gothic architecture building, which was... I don't remember which one this was. Oh, this was the tax collectors. The people hated this fucking building. For good reason. This building is actually kind of interesting. Karl Marx lived here. This building is considered the birth of communism. Karl Marx and I forget who his buddy was. They lived here together, kind of wrote the Communist Manifesto and kind of came up with sort of preaching it, and they lived in this building. But now, that building has been turned into like the most expensive cafe in all of Brussels. So the birthplace of communism, now one of the most expensive meals you can ever eat. Like I said, guys, things just happen. Wiener bus. I love that. And then here's the mannequin piss statue, the little boy peeing statue. So this one actually has some lore to it, and I bought myself a keychain of it. So that's going to be going on my Christmas tree. Gonna take the key ring off, put a little thread on it. But the lore of this, I heard so many versions of it. The version I liked the most was that when the French were trying to blow up parts of the city, they laid their dynamite and their explosives and their gunpowder and then lit it and ran away. And they gave themselves a really long fuse so they could get away. And this little boy ran out and peed on it to put the fuse out and helped save people and give more people time to escape. That's the version I liked. The other version of the story is just that somebody made it because they were weird, which, knowing a lot of European history and the sculptors, that might be the most true story. The other version I heard was that it was made to commemorate the people that were so poor they would sell their piss to the leather tanners who needed the chemicals inside urine to tan leather. But I like the story version about the little boy putting out the fire. I think that's cool. Also, when we go back to the square, all of this is rebuilt. Now, the original foundations were built in, designs and all that were built in, 16 whatever, 17 whatever. But at some point, the French, again, maybe related to the story of the mannequin piss, rolled up all their cannons onto the hill behind this building. And they were told, take out this tower, destroy the will of the people that live here. So they followed away all their cannons on it, chat, and leveled everything in the square but this building. Because they're the French. And it wasn't Napoleon French, I guess. So they were pretty fucking terrible at what they were doing. They leveled everything here that had to be rebuilt. except this building that they were actually aiming to destroy. Very funny. Beers, by the way, guys, they don't fuck around about their beer in Belgium. Holy shit. Like 5.5%, 6% is a light beer in Belgium. And so that's the beer on the far right. The beer on the far left was 14%. And then ones in the middle were like 7.5, and then I think one was 9. The dark one was 9. Just crazy. They were very serious about it. They're talking about the distilling process, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. We got Don Quixote here. I think Nick brought up Don Quixote up earlier. Got a statue to him here. Another just old-ass church. So the mannequin piss that I was talking about, you can get it as a keychain. You can also get it as a wine opener and a bottle opener. They replace his wiener with the corkscrew. So if you really want one of those, grab yourself 10 or 12 euros and walk around Belgium. You'll find those. Oh, man. Something else you'll see when you're walking around. I noticed it in Belgium. I did not notice it in Switzerland. I did not notice it in Hamburg. In Belgium is where I started to see American fashion stores. But it was like the weirdest version of American fashion where you see like a mannequin in skinny jeans and loafers, but he's got like a Kansas City Chiefs jersey on and like a New York Yankees cap. And I bet you if you go in that store for the American fashion, you wouldn't find a size large t-shirt. Maybe you'd find 2, but everything would be like medium and small. We all know true American fashion is XXL. So this meal, guys, again, Belgium, they talk such a big game about their food, and I'm like, yeah, you guys use beef tallow, cool. This carbonade that you were seeing in the pot, or stovery, they talk up such a big deal about this. This is an award-winning carbonade or stovery, and fucking mid as fuck. I don't know what the big deal was. If this was award-winning, I'd hate to taste something that did not win an award. Just not that. Like, it was good, don't get me wrong, but if I'm eating award-winning food, I'm expecting a lot more than this was. Although the Belgian waffles were so good. Fresh fruit and whipped cream is the only way to go. Although I guess the traditional way to do it is honey and butter, or a honey butter. But I wanted me some strawberries, and the whipped cream was just amazing. Again, so fresh, so sweet. Oh, this was funny too. When I was at the restaurant, next to me there were these girls, and they were doing their influencer thing, where they're all like taking fake bites of their food and like zooming in and doing their like oh my god thing, you know. And then once they were done taking their pictures, they plowed into their waffles like absolute pigs. And I was like, I kind of actually respect you ladies for doing it that way. That's pretty fun. I really like that. You guys are putting on the show for your TikTok, get your Instagram reel or whatever. And then once they're like, okay, phones down, just turn into hogs. This was on top of the city hall, which you're allowed to go up and just walk around. They're refurbing this building into something new. It's gonna be some kind of health center. And I just thought it was neat seeing the way that they were keeping the structure, adding to it, developing it, remodeling, redesigning, kind of, but keeping it all the same. You can also get cookies in the mannequin piss, or waffles to go for €1. So if you want to eat a waffle of a little boy peeing, there's your thing. If you're into that. This is just more stuff from the museum I was talking about earlier. It is pretty interesting, and it's an entirely private collection. So this is one dude's collection of comics and old comic figures and comic history, specifically Belgian and European stuff. So I thought that was neat. But overall, like, I think you could probably clear this place in 45 minutes tops. And because it was like European focused, I don't really have any nostalgia or really care. The only one I really remembered was Tintin, hearing about Tintin. But even I don't really know much about Tintin today, even as a kid growing up. But you could find Tintin on TV still in Europe, and it's a big deal to them. Oh, hang on 1 second, Castro. I'll fix that for you. I don't think you verified yourself, but I can verify you. There you go. Try again. There's an old, this is an old film, like, reel camera, whatever, to show movies back in the day. I thought that was neat. Here's just some cool art. Spider-Man. They did have a little bit on American comics. But it was really like, these figures you're seeing and that Spider-Man panel, like, glass panel thing. And that was it. That has got to be, I think that's the Iron Man 2 or it's the Avengers armor. No, that's the Iron Man 2 armor. So, that was kind of cool to see. There's this cat for whichever you are furries. More furries. Called Black Sad. Here's the little... This was all there was for manga there. I don't know what the two things on the left are. In the middle is Monkey Luffy or whatever his name is. Monkey D. Luffy. And then you have the Naruto. I think that's who that is, right? That's Naruto. That. And then there was a little bit of Star Wars too. Thought it was neat. And again, this was all a private collection, which does make it kind of interesting because you guys can see when I've done the big camera here. You can kind of see my shelf over here. So imagine I had an entire museum warehouse thing showing off my stuff. That's what that one guy has. And charges admission to it. You're welcome, Castro. We just have a little extra verification step to stop people from spamming or being shitty in there. Just some more pictures. This guy I thought was cool. Don't know what he's from. Maybe it says down here. Troll something. Okay. Well, that looks like a troll. Santa. Overall, though, guys, like, I wasn't crazy about my time in Brussels. It was just an old European city. And I think what I didn't like about it was there was no nature in the city. If you know what I mean. Like, there was not really a river or big... Like, they had gardens and stuff, but there wasn't trees, there wasn't valleys, there wasn't rivers, there wasn't lakes, there wasn't a harbor. So overall, I didn't really enjoy my time in Brussels as much. I'm glad I went to say I've been there. But, oh, yeah. And when I was in one cafe, or not even cafe, I was having a drink at a bar. And there was this table of dudes sitting down, and their friend walked in and was like, "Yo, dude, that cafe is banana bread!" And then his buddies, like, paid immediately, and they left together to go to this cafe that had banana bread. And I was like, man, I hope I can kind of find the banana bread cafe. That would be kind of cool to see. I'll take a look in a second. Here's, like I said, the nature that you get in Brussels. Like, it's these gardens, and it's not like the trees and the forests that are built into the cities of Switzerland. It's not the harbor or the rivers that you get. So, oh, I love banana bread. Banana bread's so good, man. And this was the Royal Palace. I thought was pretty interesting because they still let you only really ever hear about the British royal. You know what I mean? At least for us. So the fact that you still have royals in like the Netherlands and Belgium and other countries is kind of I thought was pretty interesting. There's the Parliament building. Again, just love the architecture. Kind of Roman in style with the columns. Oh, this was the best meal I had in Brussels, though. Started me off, free olives and bread. Had myself a nice glass of red wine. Then this came along. If any of you can guess what this is, I would be very impressed. Be very impressed. I'm actually going to go refill my water. You guys try and tell me what this is. Also, I'm going to look for my cell phone. I have no idea what... It's a super salad? Nope. Something weirder. Something more European. Really don't know where my cell phone is. You know what it is? It's probably in my bedroom. This is escargot. Snails. Cooked and prepared and seasoned snails. Nick is too fucking good at this. Jesus. As soon as I say that, he's typing he was already typing it out. Yeah. And it was delicious. I was pretty worried about it, to be honest. Delicious. So good. Like, if you didn't know it was snails and you told me it was any other mollusk, like, I don't know, like some kind of a scallop or something like that, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But yeah, like, they're kind of hidden. You can kind of really only see it, like, right there, right there, right there. There was probably, I think, like 7 of them in this dish. But it was really good, man. I mean, I'm very glad that I tried it. But then the main course was this pot of mussels. And, like, when you go to a restaurant here and you order mussels, they're like, we'll give you 1 pound of mussels. And you get, like, it feels like you get, like, fucking, like, 12. You know what I mean? Feels like you're getting ripped off, like when you're getting chicken wings. No, you get a fucking pot, and it was so good. Oh my god, it was a white wine and cream sauce with onions and some spices. Thank god this restaurant knew how to use spices properly. Oh man, it was so good. I could have eaten this, I could have ordered 3 more of these, even though I wouldn't have been able to walk afterwards. It was just so good, dude. So good. Now, the seafood in Brussels, I will give full marks to. And then this was a cheesecake, which was, but like, it was such, like, the cheesecake that's in there was like so soft. Like, it wasn't like kind of as firm as you get over here, you know what I mean? It was so soft, it was so good. There was like little bits of strawberry in there, and then they used the graham crumble on top. Oh, and then I had a Japanese tea, Genmacha? Something like that. Go with it. It was just excellent. There's the view of my hotel window at night, looking out at that thing. And then these were the best fries that I had in Belgium. Again, all these places brag about their fries. Their fries are good. These fries were fucking banging. Oh, because they use ricotta or mascarpone. Ah, okay, that's probably why it tastes so different. Yeah, it was just such a different texture. I loved it. These fries were so fucking good, though. Oh my god, they were, it was cheese and bacon and green onion on top of these with, some kind of like a Japanese barbecue sauce. I don't know, well, not barbecue, but teriyaki or, yeah, maybe that's Chinese. It was some kind of a Japanese sauce on top. Oh, it was so good. And then, like, I just got a Stella. I was trying to drink, like, local beer as much as I could, but some places didn't really have it. This place just really had Stella, so I got that. Another old-ass castle. This is the bear at the Canadian Embassy. Actually, hang on. Let's jump back a quick second here. So, we had these French fries. We had this meal here. And then we had that carbonade somewhere way back. I don't know. It's a mile back at this point. For that carbonade, if you remember that picture, the mussels and the French fries. One of those 3 restaurants has a Michelin star. Which one do you think it is? The carbonade that I said was overrated as fuck despite it being award-winning. The unbelievable dish of mussels, which were as good as any food I ate my entire time in Belgium, or the French fries. Oh, I barely drank all stream and now I'm sucking it down. 100% right. The French fries had a Michelin star. Nope, not the mussels. Even though the mussels, I would say, are the best meal I had in all of Belgium, the French fries were a Michelin star. And the chef that runs that restaurant has apparently accumulated 6 Michelin stars across his restaurants. And I was like like I said, they were the best French fries I had in my entire trip. They were super, super good. But they're still only like a maybe top 3, top 4 meal. While the mussels, I could eat that every day the rest of my life and be happy. This was at the Canadian Embassy. What was really funny is I walked along all the embassies in Brussels. Canada, France, Germany, Japan, New Zealand, Australia, Great Britain, etc. They're all just like normal buildings. Super normal buildings. Maybe they have a sculpture in front and then the flag hangs off the front, right? When I walked past the American Embassy, it had a giant spike security gate, 3 police standing guard as presents, and on the inside was like a fucking SWAT tank. At the American Embassy. Every other embassy looks like a normal fucking building. I could probably just walk in there and chat with some folks if I wanted to. U.S. Embassy looked like a fucking military compound. Just so weird, man. So weird. A memorial for the soldiers in World War I and World War II that's right next to a Ferris wheel that I really wanted to ride. But you know what sucks ass? None of the Ferris wheels in Europe let you go up alone. You need to go with somebody. So you either have to wait for a stranger, and I waited for like 15 minutes and no single strangers walked up. Expedition 60. Don't have CL and Gustav talk about it. He's gonna miss some hints. But yeah, you couldn't go up alone, and I wanted to go up at nighttime. They wouldn't let you. I wanted to go in the daytime. They wouldn't let me. I told the guy, I was like, buddy, I'll give you like an extra 10 euros here. And I go up alone. No, wouldn't let me. That was a bummer. I was really bummed out about that. But this is also, after we were talking about that food, I started to get a little bit sick of the traditional food in Europe. Because, like I said, the carbonade, some of the German food, some of the Swiss food, while most of it was really good, some of it was lacking some fucking seasoning. Some of it was awfully British that way. So it was the part of the trip where I was really starting to kind of be like, okay, I don't know how many more traditional meals I can do. Starting to go a little bit here. This was the nighttime view from the rooftop bar in my hotel, which again was amazing. Oh, I haven't talked about any of the people I met on the trip. Oh yeah, the Smurfs were another big, huge comic that was all over Brussels, and you will see murals painted around Brussels of the Smurfs. I can't believe I forgot that. It's very silly of me. So with this patio, I met 2 very lovely French women. And do you know how I managed to meet these women, chat? You want to know how this conversation went? It sounds fake. It sounds like I made it up, like I was hallucinating. We're going to go back in time. I forgot to talk about the people I've rented. So I was walking to the bathroom, and I nearly bumped into the one girl, and she got startled and spilled her drink. And I was like, oh my god, I am so sorry. I'm just going to go use the bathroom, but I will come out. I'll buy you a new glass of wine. Went to the bathroom, came out. She was waiting there. Went to the bar, grabbed her a new glass of wine. While we were waiting for her drink to come, we were just chatting a little bit. And then she says this. She asks, I can't really do a French accent. She's like, are you single? I was like, yeah? Oh, you should talk to my friend. She is going through a heartbreak. Like, oh. Okay. Yeah, let me grab a drink. What's your friend like? Okay, I'll grab another glass of wine. Let's go sit and talk to your friend. So, I got to spend the evening talking with these 2 gorgeous French women. And they were just asking me stories about Canada. What's it like living in Canada? What do you do? What's Las Vegas like? What's America like? And stuff like that. And it was just a really, really nice night of conversation. And oh my god, they were beautiful. The one girl was Moroccan and the other girl was like French, Parisian French. And it was just so nice talking to people, because like I actually had kind of a tough time finding people to talk to on the trip, and you guys can know I've been talking all stream. I'm a talkative person, but a lot of times you're on these tours, even if they're in English, it's because people are like, well, my second language is English even though I speak Spanish or something, and then you try to talk to them and some people aren't the most talkative. So yeah, that was so much fun. In Bern, I don't think in Bern I really went out with anybody. Didn't really meet anybody in Bern to go out with. Interlaken, I had met up with I met some Australians and a couple of guys from Algeria at one point, and this old British lady who was traveling by herself while I was on the boat. And so at various points it was really fun talking, interacting with them. In Zurich, I didn't mention this is a bit of a humble brag. I had 2 dates while I was in Zurich. They're both very lovely women, and really enjoyed having dinner with them. One woman was Brazilian, which I didn't think I was going to run into in Zurich. And then the other was from Shanghai. And again, and I'm not talking about any takedowns or anything here, Chad. I wasn't mashing their dinners or anything. But it was just super cool to like go out and meet people. And something that I noticed about meeting people in Europe, Chad, it was a lot like meeting people here before COVID. People were so much more social and trusting and willing to talk to strangers and interact with strangers in a way that, yeah, like I really you almost don't have over here anymore. Like we've all sold our souls to our algorithms and our Instagrams and TikToks and dating apps. Where over there, people were just so much more into organic connection and meeting. It was so refreshing, and one of the things I actually genuinely missed the most about it, because it was just so cool to meet these, like I said, and in Brussels, I went for beers with a couple American dudes, and I was a little iffy on it, but they turned out to be pretty cool guys. I was like, the one guy, they're from the South, one from Texas, and the one guy was from Georgia. And we were on the same tour, and we talked about going for a beer after. And then they turned out to be super cool. They were the kind of guys that don't think taking over Canada is a good idea. So that was fun. And like I said, it was just so interesting meeting some people. These are just some nice views over top. But yeah, like I said, guys, they'll just like talk to strangers and they don't get creeped out and freaked out. God, I wish we could still do that here. Because I'm not a weirdo, creepy guy. I'm just a fellow who wants to hang out. Yeah, Castro, for sure, man. I love talking to people. So, that was Brussels, man. Brussels, like I said, it was the point. I'm glad I went. I'm not going back to Brussels. I'd go back to anywhere in Switzerland. Love Switzerland, although I'd probably try to hit different cities. Although I could go back to Interlaken. Hamburg, also love Hamburg. I'll go back to Hamburg anytime I get the chance. It was amazing. Brussels, glad I was there. Don't feel like going back. Which then brings us, if anybody's still watching this, thank you so much. I appreciate you. On YouTube, thank you so much, YouTube. Guys, everybody in Twitch here, chat, I appreciate all you guys still hanging out while I'm talking at you like this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now we're talking about Brussels. No, we left Brussels. And also, guys, again, the train system. I can't rave enough about the train system. It is so easy to use. So many trains. They're all the time. They're so quick and efficient. Man, do I love it. Do I love it there. It's just so easy to get around. I know we can't do it here just because the reality of how spread out we are is so different, Like I was explaining to my German family just how big Canada is. And I was like, okay, I've driven, and I have done this, from Vancouver on the Pacific Ocean to St. John's, Newfoundland on the Atlantic Ocean. Like as far east as you can go, almost as far west as you can. I've driven that. To do so in Europe would be like driving from Lisbon in Portugal to Tehran in Iran. And they were just like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? But because and it was weird because you would meet people. I met this girl in Amsterdam. We haven't really talked about Amsterdam yet. She's from southern Germany, so like Bavaria. Not even 100 kilometers from Switzerland or Austria. She was in her mid-20s, never been to either country. Just like, I don't know, don't go. And I'm like, are you kidding me? 100 kilometers? And you can hop on a train with a cheaper pass than the one I paid for. Like I said, I bought the bougie one because I wanted to... I did this vacation without really... I didn't wasn't like spending like a drunken sailor, but I was like, I'm on a once in, not quite a lifetime, but a once in a long time style vacation. Probably only going to a bunch of these cities once. And I was like, nope, I'm going to have a good time. I'm buying the first class train ticket. I'm getting my hotels where I'm in the action in the downtown core, in the trendy areas with the bars and the restaurants and the people. You know, I'm going to the restaurants I want to eat at, and if that means when I get back to Canada, I'm eating macaroni for 3 weeks, fuck it, I'm eating macaroni for 3 weeks. You know? So. But yeah, just, man, I can't talk enough about it. Nick, I did notice that yesterday. You didn't ask any questions, but... so Bruges. Bruges is a more interesting city than Brussels, and Bruges is, like, fucking tiny. It's a really old medieval town, has canals, which means you can go on boat rides, which something you can't do in Brussels. Even though Brussels used to be a swamp, they got rid of basically all the water. I mean, there is the river, but you see like old, so you have the canals everywhere with the boats. And they have drawbridges too, to allow the boats to pass. But then you see old castle type shit like this, and I just think that is so fucking cool. So cool. And then... I went to a waffle making class called Waffles and Beer. I have this apron. It's in my pantry. My other apron. And I got to learn how to make authentic Belgian waffles, step by step in this amazing course. And again, I met people here. Even though, like I said, I didn't meet people everywhere I was going. Something I did really enjoy, this class was a really good way to meet people. I met a French guy who was a sous chef, and his restaurant had paid for him to go around some areas in Belgium to learn to learn essentially how to make authentic waffles so that he can come back and he can create authentic waffles for their menu. That guy was immediately to my left. He was really interesting to talk to. The two people to the left of him were from the Netherlands. They were a couple, and they were just on a vacation out having a good time. And they were kind of vaguely probably in my age range. So cool. It was just really great talking to them, asking them questions, you know? So, oh, Nick, I could talk about this vacation 100 times over. Not even worry about it. But yeah, I got to learn how to do it. Something you also see, that Solo bottle is liquefied butter. You can't find that in North America. But yeah, there's my first waffle. Doesn't look amazing, but it sure tasted great. And one of the things you do to them is you use beer instead of like a water or anything like that in your batter. And you're also supposed to cook them really high and really fast as well. So I was whisking away, mixing all the materials, measuring everything out. Made my waffle, put some jam on it, put some whipped cream on it, a little bit of chocolate drizzle, down the hatch. And that was my dinner. That was dinner the night that I got to Bruges. Or Bruges, if you want to say it the way they say it, or Brugge, if you want to say it the way the Germanic countries say it. But then just walking around town again, more cool old shit. Lots of old, and the whole town is protected by UNESCO. So it's basically the entire town's a historical site, so there's no modifications allowed to the architecture, to the buildings. Like on the insides you can do things, but not to the exteriors, and then certain buildings you can't change at all. You can only just renovate to get them back up to where they were. Not even renovate, repair. Which is really interesting. And you'll see a picture later on about that. This is just the town square, which was neat. Also, you see lots of duck stores. And I don't know what was up with that, but you see tons of rubber duck stores. I think I have some pictures of them. But again, people call this like the Hogwarts town of Belgium. And I kind of see why, because everything looks like this. Everything looks like this, which I guess is very Hogwartsy, wizarding world of whatever, you know? Which is kind of neat. What was this? Oh, when I got back to the hotel, had a glass of wine and some cured meats with garlic bread. Again, Nice way to spend an evening drinking wine and eating snacks, man. But again, like I said, guys, I just look at this, and then the water had this like green. This picture isn't great, but it almost, to keep the water from being like gross or whatever, they put a bit of a chemical in it, which then gives it this really green color, which doesn't look swampy, and the picture doesn't show it, but it looks almost like green metallic. It's very interesting, and like it maybe adds that fantastical side. This is one of the reasons, this isn't one of the reasons. This is an innovation they had to come up with in Bruges, because you're not allowed to change any of the buildings. Because there's an old brewery in Bruges that makes really, really good beer called Half Man or Half Moon, or something like that. And because they couldn't change, and they can't build anything, and they can't like expand the building, they were like, well, everybody wants our beer. How do we get this beer out of here? So in Bruges, there is an actual pipeline of beer that runs under the city streets. They built an underground pipeline that pumps beer from the brewery to the bottling facility that is outside the UNESCO protected area. So when you're walking on the streets of Bruges, you're walking on top of beer. Beer literally runs through the streets of Bruges. I thought that was really funny, really cool. You know? Because I learned that on the walking tour I took, which again, met some nice people on the walking tour. And my tour guide, Leah, was a lovely, lovely woman. And we actually went for a coffee after. And this isn't a date. I'm not saying I'm taking all these girls on dates or meeting all these people or whatever. But it was just like cool. I was just like, hey, like if you're done this, do you just want to grab a coffee and keep talking? And as I just enjoyed talking so much to people. It was just so cool to see. This is the really old church in this building. And then this is, I think, a part of a church as well. But this building here was a really rich family that was like, we don't want to have to walk outside to go to church. That's what poor people do. So they built their manor and built it so that there was a hallway that connected their manor here to the church. Now you would say, how is this family so rich? Well, this family was a bunch of scam artists. You see this little window here, chat? They used that window to spy on the river so that whenever they would see boats coming by, somebody would run down here and pretend they were a toll collector on the river and collect tolls from all the boats that were illegal. They weren't the actual tolls the boats needed to pay, but they did it for so long that everyone just assumed, oh yeah, that's the toll you have to pay at that part of the river. And that's how that family got so rich. I don't know if it's a hustle or a scam. I don't know if I respect it or not. But yeah, they built a spy window, like an ancient security camera, basically. Someone would sit up there and then tell someone down in the plaza, hey, go collect the toll, go collect the toll. And they would stand here and collect the toll from all the boats that would go in and out of town. And then, yeah, just another canal pick. God, I love the canals. They were so much fun just to go around on. Torture Museum. This was interesting. And the Witchcraft Museum. My phone died, so I didn't get any pictures inside of it. Unfortunately, I was walking around this day without my backpack, which had my battery charger in it. Remember when I talked about the German S&M Club? Walking around the Torture Museum sure looked a lot like the German S&M Club. Just instead of like having pink fuzz and leather everywhere, it was like old wood and metal spikes. But even the German S&M Club had some metal spikes. So that was really funny. And then the Witchcraft Museum was pretty interesting too, talking in a dark, it was kind of dark, talking about the way they would treat witches and stuff like that. Or people, obviously not witches, but people they suspected of witchcraft and stuff. But it was just kind of interesting to see. I found not the way they dealt with the women they thought were too smart, so obviously they're witches. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks balls. But then seeing like the more fantastical part where they actually did have stuff about more occult groups and stuff like that from history in there. I thought that was very good. This was day 2 or day 3 in Bruges. I don't remember. Anyway, I missed breakfast, but I had a tasting coupon for a free beer tasting. at this brewery. So this was my breakfast. A 6%, a 7.5%, a 10.1, and a 13.5% beer. That's what I had for breakfast on my last day in Bruges. And in my opinion, I would say the second beer here was the tastiest. I'm not nuts about amber ales, and both of these were various degrees of amber ales. And this one was a bit citrusy, which was fine, but I would say that just kind of the blonde gold lager in the left there, that was the one for. Oh yeah, you see horses pulling carriages all over these European cities. It's like $70 for a ride, and they're not really like a taxi. They take you on a predetermined route and you just go for a ride and look at things. But you see them everywhere. You hear the clop, 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 clop. And then, yeah. You'll also have the guys that are, you know, what do you call them? They're not jockeys, but whatever. My brain's melting. Yelling at people, get out of the fucking way! Because some people are dumb enough that they run up and try to, like, take a selfie with the horse, but then the horse sometimes they're like, no, you shouldn't be doing that, and this is a fucking wild animal. Well, the domesticated animal with some wild instincts still. Don't spook it, you dumbass. Also, what was kind of neat though, over here you see horses wearing poop bags. They have a poop slide bag here, which collects a whole lot more poop. So when the horses come by, sometimes you really get hit by that horse shit smell. Little not great. This was after the brewery. I walked around a bit. I picked up some gifts. So in Bruges, my souvenir, because Belgium is famous for inventing lace, I got this encased laced bear of Bruges that I'm going to turn into a Christmas ornament. And then I picked up some other stuff. I picked up some chocolates and stuff like that. I can show you guys later if you want. I've got a whole bag of them, but this is going long enough. So this was that brewery, the one that had the pipes going under the city. That carbonade was way better than the award-winning one I had in Brussels. This carbonade was excellent. It was so good. It actually tasted like something. The other one just tasted like beef and gravy. This one, though, so good. The beer was also great. So, something. Oh, you know what? Actually, we can talk about this now. We can talk about that later. Something else, because I've mentioned I was on a lot of these walking tours, chat. Something that I would recommend: getting an excellent pair of shoes. So I bought these On Cloud runners. I wore them every day I was in Europe. All day. Everywhere I went. My feet never got sore. I can't say enough good things about these shoes. They're so light, they're so comfortable, and like I said, I was averaging about 24,000 steps a day, something like that, 21 to 24,000 steps in any given day. And my feet were never sore. Like, sure, when I got in at the end of the day, my feet would be sore, but it's because I was walking all day. It wasn't because my shoes were sore. There was no point where I was ever walking and I was like, I gotta get off my feet. I gotta sit down. Oh, my feet are killing me. No blisters, nothing. They were unbelievably comfortable. I can't say enough good things about them. You know, oh god, they're such great shoes. I'm so happy to have them. When they were new, they were super crazy bright white. After wearing them for 3 and whatever weeks in a row, plus I wore these at the World Cup, got a little bit dirty. And there's no real good way to clean these things, unfortunately, because the material's a little fabric-y, so once stains kind of get in them, you can kind of wipe them down a bit, but yes, please, OnCloud, sponsor me. Please. I will only wear your shoes the rest of my life if you sponsor me, I swear to God. They were so good. Oh, man. So good. But yeah, man, I just loved, like I said, these boat rides and looking at things. I could do this every single day and never get bored. It was so much fun looking at these places. And just the way, like I said, they've maintained all this architecture. Oh, this is really cool. So this is an area with a ton of ducks. And so this area's actually got, like, all the grass and stuff is fenced off. And you might say, fenced off? Well, how is this jackass taking a picture? Well, this tourist popped the fence here so we can come take a picture of the ducks, scared all the ducks off their little protected areas on the grass and into the water. Like an absolute dipshit. They have stupid tourists everywhere.
Scares all the ducks.
So this is my tour guide getting mad about that asshole. And then the video ends, but then he eventually says, "Hey, get the fuck off the grass. You scared the ducks." And I was like, love this guy. He's great. So that was it for Bruges, guys. Oh, the only bummer about Bruges, the waffle thing, I lost my recipe sheet. So I'm going to have to email the lady that held the class. Say, hey, I took the class on this day. My name's Adam. It was really fun. Unfortunately, I left my recipe sheet in the hotel room. So could you please send it to me pretty please? Pretty please? Because I want to make those waffles at home now. And if you guys that have been hanging out, we're almost done. Almost done. Because now we're on to Rotterdam. And Rotterdam was a nice uptick after, like I said, the slight bummer that... Oops, wrong screen. Belgium was. I just really, guys, wasn't nuts for Belgium. This was in my hotel. Although, you actually know what I noticed? And I noticed this by the time I got to Belgium. The word fucking, universal. Doesn't matter what language somebody speaks. You'd hear somebody speaking German. You hear somebody speaking French, Italian, Dutch, whatever. They would throw a fucking in the middle of their sentence. It's a universal word. It's used globally. Ooh, that sounds interesting, Castro. Let me know how that goes. But yeah, so I stayed at this hotel called the James in Rotterdam, very close to the train station. And the James Hotel is located kind of right near a bunch of nightclubs and stuff like that, which was kind of neat because I was able to watch the nightclubs go from restaurant mode, shuts down at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, turns into nightclub mode until 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and then they turn into a breakfast place at like 6, 7 in the morning. And yeah, like just these places don't close. They just change forms. That was kind of interesting. Something else you'll see in Rotterdam too, I don't have any pictures of it, is they have like public urinals just in the middle of like squares and stuff. And you're like, that's kind of weird. Because you could just walk up and like be peeing like this. And people could be walking past you into like this like urinal tower. But it's better than, I guess, just having guys walking up to the buildings and pissing on the side of buildings. So that's why they have that. So that's kind of neat, I guess. Rotterdam, though, didn't have as much old architecture as the other buildings. Or buildings, the other cities. And I was pretty tired my first day in Rotterdam. Not the ones I want to show. So when I actually got to Rotterdam... went to bed. I don't even remember if I had dinner. Oh, I did. I had the front desk girl, because my Uber Eats app was in Dutch while I was obviously in the Netherlands. I had her order me something off Uber Eats. I got a doner kebab, which is like a doner. It's not quite the same. It's different over there. But it was delicious. It was very, very good. Glad I ate that at the hotel, and then kind of just had a lazy early night. And the next day I was still so tired. All I did was go to cafes that first day. Order coffee, sit on the patio, go for a walk. Not even a long walk, short walk. Go to another cafe, grab a coffee, go sit in a park, listen to some busker for a while. And that actually turned out to be an amazing day. Don't have too many pictures of me doing that, but yeah. However, though, for dinner, I went to this really fancy fish restaurant. I forget the name of it. I don't remember the names of these places. If anyone's ever curious and you're watching this, you want to know these, ask me later and I can look everything up. And they give you a free glass of champagne and popcorn when you walk in. They also give you a thing of sardines as a take-home. So, what I was able to do, as we go back here, they basically have fresh fish from the market. And you basically walk up to this and say, I want one of those, I want one of those, I want some of those, I want some of that, blah, blah, blah. And that's how you order your food. So I walked up here with my popcorn and champagne, and was like, yeah, give me a couple of the jumbo shrimp. Give me one of these like weird little lobster things. Oh, let's grab some soft shell crab. And then I've never had sea bass, so I ordered the sea bass. So, like most places, free bread and butter with your meal. Obviously delicious. And there was a very nice herb and garlic butter. I got this ceviche as well. Tuna ceviche. Excellent. It was on, like, this corn was almost like popcorn. Like, it was like a hard corn, like a corn nut, kind of. But then there was also soft corn in there, cucumber, red onion, and then this was almost like a bit of a chili cream. And again, just worked so well with the tuna. There's the appetizers, this kind of weird mini baby lobster thing, the big jumbo shrimps, and the soft shell crab. Out of these, I would say the soft shell crab was the best. These things, once you peeled them, the meat was kind of underwhelming. All the flavor didn't really get inside the skin or the shell of the jumbo shrimp here. So it was actually kind of underwhelming because then the meat just kind of tasted like plain shrimp meat. There wasn't a lot of flavor. There's no dip with it. So the stuff they were boiled in didn't really get into the meat. So good, but not great. And I'm paying fresh market price on this meal. This is the most expensive meal I had. Soft shell crab, though, absolutely deadly. So good. This was like a chili mayo, chili aioli. And then this little lobster thing, again, good, but once the tail is so small on this thing, you pull that meat out, and that's all there is. There's no meat in the claws, there's no meat in the body, and you have just kind of the butter foam that they top this with as flavoring. Good, not amazing. If I were to go back, I would have done like 3 soft shell crabs or to grab something else off the thing. Wasn't nuts about the overall results. This was the sea bass. It was good. Again, though, not great. It was really only seasoned with salt and oil for some reason. You know, they couldn't throw pepper on it. They couldn't throw lemon on it. Nothing. No, salt and oil. Now, it did come out in this tray, and they had coals in there that were smoking on the rosemary. So you got a rosemary aroma, but no rosemary flavor into the fish. So again, like I said, good, but not quite worth the money. Now, here's the thing. There could be other things on that fish market that maybe I should have gone there, but I was only one person. I was trying to keep my meal one person size. Lots of people at this restaurant were actually in groups of 3, 4, 5, and I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, but anyway. However, this cauliflower was unbelievable. It was boiled and broiled, I think, cauliflower, topped with a chimichurri, and then this was like a creme fraiche, and oil base, and just mixing it around in that actually was really good. So there's this cool ass bridge, and the drawbridge area is on this side, and this is like the weight system, I guess, that you know, lifts it all up. So that was neat. This was a much cooler bridge in Rotterdam. I forget the name of it now I'm talking about it, but this is like the more iconic of the 2 bridges. Also in Rotterdam is where I started to see bikes fucking everywhere. Forgot my little bicycle here. That's turning into a Christmas ornament. But again, more harbor tours, man. Like, I could sit on a fucking boat all day. So happy. Went on this harbor tour, just going around looking at sights. And even if I don't really care what's going on, man, sitting on a boat in the open, well, not open water, sitting on a boat in the water on a nice sunny day, it's hard to beat. Tough to see here. These are some old fishing boats, older style, that are still in usage. You know, and they park in the harbor here. And then a lot of the old harbor buildings are still in use for a lot of their original purposes, which is pretty cool. This tower is part of a really big park. I forget the name of the tower. It's called like the Euro something. Blanking. But you can go up it. It's like 20 euros to go up. And then there's a restaurant in this. And you can kind of, I don't know if you guys can really see. I'm zooming in as far as I can. These are rappel lines. Now, I thought that's cool. I can rappel off this. These are people rappelling off the building. Unfortunately, it was 80 euros and you have to book your spot, and I had a train to catch, so I didn't have time, unfortunately, to rappel off the side of this building. Would have been fun as hell. But Rotterdam's a city I would go back to if I had the chance. If I was in Europe, I had a flex day, something like that. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's see if I can get over to Rotterdam. And it's also like a 35-40 minute train ride from Amsterdam too, so very easy to get to. Just another boat, another Ferris wheel that you can't go on by yourself. This cool little tree, which I thought looked like an ant. That's why I took a picture of it. And this is up top of that tower. And so, just, yeah, the view you have, and again, well, the way I was talking about Switzerland, all the greenery, all the trees, the mix of water, that's kind of what I love to see when I'm in Europe. That's what I was missing in Brussels. This sandwich, fucked hard. Fried, sunny side up, soft egg on top of a, well, basically what is a Montreal smoked meat sandwich. And then a side of fries. Absolutely deadly. And this apple pie might have been the best dessert. This is up there with that cheesecake I was talking about, and probably better than the gelato I had, the no-bile gelato. Oh, this apple pie was so fucking good. Oh, just look at it. It was just so good. Oh, I'm getting like worked up thinking about this apple pie, man. Here, they have a whole bunch of flags. Not every flag in the world, but almost. And I found the Canadian flag. And this one took a lot of finding. It was way down at the end, and I was holding in a massive P at the time. But I was so committed to finding the flag. Also, surfing. They have a surf wave pool in the middle of Rotterdam that gets water from the canal. And you can practice and learn surfing. So what did I do? I booked myself a surf lesson. Although I haven't been able to download the videos yet because their website's a little awkward. But I booked myself a surf lesson. So when you see that person there, that's what I was looking like trying to learn how to surf. Now the water looks nasty green. It was not nasty. It's just green because that water comes in from the river or the canal or whatever. And because people are using it for surfing, they are dumping a lot of chemical into it to keep it sanitary. Now I wouldn't drink that water, but it was perfectly clean and healthy and safe and fun. This was me on the Euro thing. It had a glass floor. Again, going up the top to the tippy top of the tower, which I have a better video of way at the beginning here. You get like this trippy light show. They love dance music in Rotterdam. Like I said, oh, you can kind of see my reflection here. You're gonna see how I was dressed. That's how I was dressed almost every day, which is actually very European looking, so I didn't stand out like a tourist. Something that also was cool in Rotterdam, one night after the fish dinner, I kind of didn't go in any of the nightclubs, but I walked around the nightclub street. Just kind of took in the nightlife that. But you get to go up this thing, and it'll spin you around. That was a little bit of a long video. That side sucks. Then you come back around to the people side where it's all good. This is all included with that $20 entry.
Not so afraid of adventure.
See, you can see that bridge, and then there's the harbor. You can see some of the boats that are going around. And like the harbor tours, like, yeah, I mean, there's active shipping ships going around you the whole time. It's really neat to see. We were able to watch the big magnetic thing picking up containers somewhere in this area and loading up ships. That was just mad cool. Yeah, I really liked my time in Rotterdam. I would recommend it because I don't think a lot of people go there as tourists, but I thought it was a pretty cool city. Like 2 days, 2.5 days would be a great time in Rotterdam. Here's the fish market, and can't get this to rotate, sorry. This is just me standing atop of the deck looking out over the harbor. Turn your head if you really want a better view. But yeah, man, Rotterdam was cool. Quite liked it. And the other nice thing too is once you get out of Switzerland, you're paying in euros. And it's just a little bit more affordable. Now, now I know I said Hamburg was probably the best part of the trip, and Switzerland, all of Switzerland was great. Guys, Amsterdam was a fucking cool city. Amsterdam lives up to its reputation, in my opinion. I fucking loved my... Got a lot of shit to show for it. This might be one of the longer things, although I might skip over some of the stuff. I can hear my phone buzzing. It's fucking here somewhere. After stream, I'll track that thing. Oh, there we go. So finally, we're at the end of the trip. We're in Amsterdam, which again was a great city because again, you come out of the train station and it looks like this. It doesn't look like fucking dog shit. It's everywhere so beautiful. Like I said, just there's something about looking at these buildings that just puts you in a different mood. Again, with the Firewatch Towers. You know, that's the train station. Can you imagine a train station in North America looking like this? The only one that probably comes close is like Grand Central. Have I ever thought about doing a 90-hour subathon? Castro, I'm so happy that you believe I could do something like that. I absolutely cannot, and I'm so sorry. Dude, the 24-hour extra life stream kills me and fucks me up for like 2 weeks after. I can't. I'm still recovering from the jet lag from this trip today. So, yeah. But, yeah, the train station's great. Oh, yeah, and because it was the end of Pride Week, it was the back end of Pride Week, I saw some fucking weirdo, kinky outfits just on the streets, man. This is the Rijksmuseum, which is very cool. I didn't have time to go, so I definitely think I do have to do Amsterdam again. But anyway, the kinky outfits I saw. So this is on actually a walking tour I did. There's my awesome On Cloud shoes. Please sponsor me. They're the best shoes ever. $18 on this boat tour. Not a walking tour, boat tour. $18 for the boat tour. And if you pay an extra €5, so not euro, or not dollars, euros, 18. Pay an extra 5, unlimited booze and cheese. So I fucking must have downed, I think I must have downed 7 Heinekens on this boat tour around the harbor. And it was really interesting. The tour guide was very knowledgeable about the history, like more of the ancient history of Amsterdam. So it was quite interesting listening to her talk about it. She explained how boats like this, I lost my train of thought. There was something I was talking about. Oh, the dudes in leather. Okay, sorry. Let me say this. So I saw these 3 dudes. 3 of the first dudes I saw walking around Amsterdam. One dude, leather like booty shorts, very tight on this like penis and balls. Had like knee-high leather boots on, and then he had like the leather X thing that goes on the chest with metal studs and a ring on it. And then he had like a weird little leather cap on that almost looked like a swimmer's cap. Second dude that was walking with him, head to toe, black leather, jacket, vest, leather shirt, belt, big leather belt, black leather pants, big black leather boots, and then he had like the leather officer's hat on. And sunglasses. He almost looked like a Tom from Finland painting. And then the third dude that was walking with him was kind of in between the both. He had like a half leather tank top on with like a little baby leather vesty thing. And then leather like shorts that weren't quite booty shorts. They went a bit longer. And then he had like dress shoes. And then he also had like some studded bracelets on. And they're just walking down the street. And I was like, they look like they're going somewhere to have a good time. But something you'll see in Amsterdam that's really neat. And if I go back to Amsterdam, I'm going to see if I can like Airbnb this. This is a floating houseboat. So it's not a houseboat the way that we have them on lakes in Canada or maybe America. It's essentially like a barge. that is parked and is a permanent residence on the water. And you can just live on the canal. You can just like open your windows and, you know, if you got your titties out or you don't have your boxers on, people can be looking in at your cash and prizes on all these boat tours because they are going all the time. So there's these houses and they're everywhere on the water. Like, I think I took this one so I could maybe look that up and maybe next time if I ever go to Amsterdam, try to rent that. And that's just a residence. That's a home. Fully hooked up with plumbing and gas and electrical and all that. So really neat to see as you're on these like boat tours again. And then things like this one are old like fishing boats or transport boats that were converted into homes on the water. So they're not quite as nice. Windows aren't quite as much. But someone lives there year round on the water. And every like 7 years, they're supposed to take the houseboat out of the water, do a check and repair on it. But nobody really knows if everybody's actually following that. So, yeah, just, again, just another boat tour, man. I could do that all day. There's the Gouda, the cheese of the Netherlands. Absolutely delicious. And I ate so much of that on that boat tour. Man, I just love my time in Amsterdam. Nick, I know you and said you and Cass were talking about something like this. Amsterdam is a must, dude. Amsterdam is a must. Skip Belgium if you want to. I don't think you're missing a ton. But Amsterdam was fucking rad. And I didn't even get out to The Hague. I didn't get to any of the other cities, really, just Rotterdam and Amsterdam. But I'm a big fan of the Netherlands. These are more... Actually, are these... I think these are more houseboats. I think there's a... No, these ones aren't. No, these are active fishing vessels and stuff like that. So... Paris and Netherlands? Okay. Yeah, that'll be a good one. Yeah, and just, again, more pictures of the water. The water at nighttime here, I kind of love this picture. I just love the way this looks. Isn't that just something, man? Something you'll see, too, in the Netherlands a bit more is a little bit more of modern architecture mixed in with really old-timey architecture. And like in Switzerland, you don't see a lot of it. In Germany, you do, but still not a ton. It still seems kind of, this is the old, this is the new, and they're kind of spread apart. Brussels, Belgium, again, mostly old. And then once you got away from the old stuff again, there was like obviously newer developments. But in Amsterdam, I noticed a lot more of it. And Rotterdam was much more of a modern style city. Rotterdam was almost kind of Vancouver-y, Seattle-y in the belt. Kind of West Coasty. What's really funny is after that boat tour with the unlimited drinks, when I went to step off the boat, I nearly missed the step and went for a plunge into the canal. Pulled pork is great, but have you tried push pork? I have not. Do you have a push pork recipe? So, if you're gonna do the unlimited drinks package, where you pay the €5 extra, make sure you don't miss that step getting off the boat. Everyone's gonna look at you real funny. Oh yeah, because it was Pride Week, you could see these keychains, but I wasn't buying any of those. My keychain from the Netherlands was a clog. Little wooden clog. Not the penis or balls. This tower was interesting because my tour guide pointed out that you can see kind of the different layers and construction of the brick on it. Is because that's all from different times this kind of had to get rebuilt. So like this is a bit older, and then this is a bit newer, and then this part's newer, and stuff like that. Because I guess Amsterdam got hit pretty fucking hard in World War II. And in some other conflicts. That's why you also see this is round, and then it becomes like hexagonal. And then I think it's pentagonal at the top. Because it was kind of built in sections and then rebuilt in sections and stuff like that. So that was just cool to see. This is apparently called the $1 Million View. I did not get a good picture of it, but I believe Rembrandt, or maybe it was Van Gogh, painted, has a very famous painting of the view down this alley to that cathedral. I won't make you guys count this, But this is like the romantic canal. This is like the lovers canal where you can get private or semi-private or something like that boat rides. And there's 7 of these bridges down this thing. And I think it's like you're supposed to kiss under each one. If you kiss under each one, you're going to have eternal love or something like that. That was what the tour guide was telling me. But something else that you can apparently rent on the canals, because Amsterdam's kind of known for its sex trade, if you weren't aware. You can get boat rides with a pretty lady, and because Amsterdam is below sea level, it's kind of like the under a mile high club or something like that. There's not a great translation for it, but the idea is that instead of joining the mile high club, you're like joining like the below sea level club or something. So you can sometimes see boats that are entirely closed off going around the canals, and allegedly there's pretty ladies that you can hire in there to spend time with you in said canal. That's something you're into, guys. I'll have a little more on the red light district later. But yeah, no, like I said, it was the back half of Pride Week, so I was seeing some gay stuff, and I'm cool with it. I don't mind that stuff. I was just seeing a fair bit of it. Yeah, you might be able to do canal minus the sea in a canal. You know? So this here is really neat. This is the cat rescue boathouse. So this is where cats go, like stray cats can go to be rescued and cared for, and then you can go here and adopt cats. And it's a little another one of these little houseboats. And I thought that was really fucking cool. You can see one kitty right here. It's not a great picture of the kitty, but there was one kitty in the window who was looking at us as we were going by. You kind of see him. So that was very cute. I don't think there's any other kitties we can see. I don't think that's a kitty. I think the only kitty we can see is this one. But yeah, that's one of the kitties you could adopt. So I thought that was really cool. This is on my second boat cruise. So there was the first one. This one was a little more of a younger-ish person, chiller vibe kind of boat tour, in my opinion. The one I went on the evening was much more informative. This one was more about just going around having drinks and, you know, stuff like that. Don't remember which old ass. Oh, this is the. Oh, this is in the main town square. Because again, Madame Tussauds Museum. I didn't have time to go there. Honestly, if I was doing this trip again, I'd throw 2 more days on Amsterdam. I did not have enough time because I missed Madame Tussauds, the wax museum. I didn't have time to do this Amsterdam dungeon, sadly, which is too bad. I just had too many things I was trying to fit in, and there were so many things I would have loved to have done. Smoked salmon sandwich. Every pub seems to have one, and I chose a good one. After this smoked salmon sandwich, though, the bar I was at was playing the soccer game, so I went inside, and when Ajax or Ajax or whatever it's called scored, the bar went nuts. I was like, okay, fuck yeah, let's go Ajax. Yeah, that's who I'm cheering for. I'm with you guys. And something that was really cool at this bar, I don't think I have a picture of it. I don't. You know the way you can get a bucket of Corona in ice at that bar that was showing the game? You could get a bucket of Diet Coke with a bottle of Malibu. And there was a table of white girls in there that were going nuts. And I think I saw them order 3 buckets of Diet Coke and Malibu. I was like, you know what, ladies? That's cool. Because we've talked about things that are universal. The word fuck, smell of public transit. Another thing that seems to be universal is drunk white girls having drinks in a bar and going, woo! Yeah! Because I saw that. And I was like, okay, it's not just American girls, not just Canadian girls that do that. They do that over there. But man, this smoked salmon sandwich is so good. Sliced boiled egg, quick pickled cucumber, smoked salmon, lettuce, mayo, salt and pepper. Thank God they gave me both. Also, a lot of places will do the French fries. Potato chips instead of French fries, especially on their lunch menus. Not everywhere, but a lot of places will do that. So, oh man. Oh, something else about this bar I forgot. After the soccer game, I hadn't quite finished the other beer that I'd ordered yet, so I sat down because it cleared out a little bit. And that's where I met that swinger couple that I was talking about in Discord. So, if you're gonna wear pineapples in Amsterdam, be ready for some swinger couples to approach you, especially on like a Saturday. Because, as we'll touch on maybe a bit later, the red light district stuff is popular as hell. Very popular there. And so that couple thought I was part of the lifestyle. Because the guy was talking to me, he's like, "No wife?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't have a wife." And he was like, he was so confused looking at me. And then I was like, and I don't remember if I even clued in I was wearing my pineapple shirt. But then we just ended up talking. I was just asking questions about the red light district. Apparently him and his wife really enjoy going to some of the sex clubs together. And I was like, "Oh, that's good. I'm so happy for you guys." Oh, this was great. This is Geneva, which is like the predecessor to gin. And I guess is native to the Netherlands. And so you can go to this place, do a tasting. They also have an amazing truffle bucket. Or mussel that you can order. So that was cool as hell. And like I'd mentioned, I was getting a bit sick of local food, so I went for Indonesian food. And this Indonesian food fucked so hard. It was so good. One of the best meals on the trip. Because it had so much flavor. And then it makes sense, though. Because the East India Trading Company, the old massive trading spice company, was based out of the Netherlands. Like, their home base was the Netherlands. So it looks like tapas. I have no idea what it was called, man. I was like, I want this. And I pointed at the menu and he brought it out. And it was great. But it makes sense because what did the East India Trading Company do? Went around the world, pillaging, stealing, some other bad stuff, and brought spices back to Europe. So, which restaurants have the best food in Europe? The restaurants of the countries that the Europeans colonized. If you want food with flavor, go there. Oh yeah, and Stroop waffles. Also, again, I met somebody I met a girl on the cruise that I was on earlier that day, the daytime one. And we hit it off a bit and just went for dinner. And again, just another lovely conversation going for dinner. And it was just really, again, so easy to meet people and say, "Oh, you want to grab dinner later? You want to grab coffee? You want to grab a drink?" And then just keep interacting and socializing with strangers. So we met up for dinner and then just said goodbye. And we talked to each other. She told me about her vacation. I told her about my vacation. It was just, yeah, like I said, man, I kind of loved how easy it was to meet and interact with people there. And then, yeah, stroopwafel. This thing fucked so hard. This was my breakfast the one day. This and a coffee. Fresh stroopwafel. Dipped in, yeah, Nutella. Like a really thick, thin Nutella. And then topped with fresh raspberries. Oh, man. That was so fucking good. And then later that day, I went and got another one with white chocolate and strawberries. And this one was from a street vendor, and it was also real fucking good. So then in the evening, I was going over to the Modern Contemporary Art Museum, the MoCo. I saw this. And I was like, whoa, do you guys actually know about hot dogs here? Does Nutella originate from Italy? I did not know that. It makes sense, though. Do you know that most Nutella for North America is produced in Canada? No. It might look like an AI IRL, but no, it's just an old statue that they have of a hot dog, where the hot dog is pouring the condiments on himself. So I just thought that was pretty funny. And then in the Modern Contemporary Art Museum, because it's modern contemporary, it is maybe a little more on the abstract side, maybe a little... Some of it I honestly found very uninteresting. I thought this was just kind of neat, but again, the fact that this art piece probably goes for like $2 million, I probably find ridiculous. These marble Jordans, though, I thought were pretty fucking cool. I do think these marble Jordans were sick. And then black marble Jordans. Is it the two towers flying to the plains? Maybe, man. Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember the description. I think it was just like talking. It was something about business or whatever. Trying to alter the reality of capitalism. Or I can't remember. Some shit. But then there was this selection of like these artworks which I thought was really cool. There was a couple more. I might not have transferred the pictures of all of them. But I thought this one was funny. I was mentally ill before, it was cool. There was another one about having like a mental breakdown, but if you give your mental breakdown a name, it becomes your friend. And then there's another one where a guy's just walking around in his underpants saying, I'm totally fine, I'm totally fine. So, this was neat. This was just some glitter art I saw. Honestly, the Modern Contemporary Art Museum is, I have a bit of an appreciation for stuff like this. More than like classic like realism or impressionists and stuff like that. Seeing like maybe some newer, weirder ideas. Like this one was cool, just like a robot lady. And I also really liked her helmet because it was kind of Daft Punky. But then the suit's also kind of Iron Man-y, you know, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty neat, you know? I won't zoom on it, but the nipples were pierced on her. But then they also had a Banksy exhibit. And guys, I thought the Banksy exhibit was sick. I am a big fan of Banksy's art. Like the flower thrower is one of his like most iconic pieces, one of my favorite things. I have a t-shirt with the flower thrower on it. And I also bought a small print of a couple of Banksy pieces. And I'm gonna get the little frames and hang these somewhere because I just really dug all three of these pieces. Really big fan of the style and the graffiti, kind of the guerrilla art of it. And also this piece. Like I don't know how to explain how much I think about this. Because you look at the little girl and you think of everything about a little girl with innocence and things like that. And the balloon too, and like the whimsy. So is she reaching for the balloon? Did she let the balloon go? Did she let the balloon go, then realize, oh no, I want to grab it back? Like, or is the balloon somehow coming to her? Is she drawing the balloon in? You know, like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I look at it and I think about stuff. And if an artist can make you do that, I think that's a really cool thing. And that's why I like Banksy, because when you look at the flower thrower, you look at this, like, it actually makes me think about art. I think that's really neat. So. But then in the basement, you get into kind of like video screens and light rooms, which were pretty neat and trippy. Like this one looks like it's huge, but it's really just a bunch of mirrors. And it's actually quite a small room. And then you get into this one, which is the trippiest room I walked into. And I spent like 15 minutes in this room as the lights were changing. And it was just, again, it's all mirrored and the mirrors are angled just a little bit. So the reflections get a little uneven. Man, did I enjoy that. It was really cool. Here's a selfie, trying to look cool, failing at it. You can really see my hand line on my arm. But Nick, I would recommend the Moko Museum for sure. There's another one. I was in my Crocs. Huh. I guess I didn't... might have been the one evening I didn't wear my shoes. But I would recommend the Moko Museum for sure. And Rick's Museum. And if you can get... I didn't get to the Van Gogh Museum either. Again, didn't have time. So the Van Gogh has to be pre-booked. I thought I could walk up. Someone told me I could walk up, and I couldn't. And then I couldn't get a ticket for 2 hours, but then I had my flight to catch, so I was upset about it. Oh, there it is. Diamond Matrix. Leave that up for you guys to read that if you want. So this was my last evening in... this would have been, I think, probably... Yeah, this was my last evening in Amsterdam. But yeah, these, the Diamond Matrix room was very cool. Again, just... the way that they would change, the way that they works with all the mirrors in there is... it just feels weirdly infinite, almost like space in a way. Like if you were, when you look up at the stars and realize how fast it is. Using the mirrors and the lights really kind of gives you a similar thing, but more on the trippy side. Glass soccer ball. I love this quote by Andy Warhol because it's something we've talked about too. Everyone's in the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. We've talked about this. The way you see people TikTok and Twitch stream and stuff like that. So I didn't know that this was an Andy Warhol quote. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I gotta grab a picture. Especially when the way, like, you have people nowadays. Now I'm going off on a tangent, but who cares? This whole stream is. Going off on a tangent, but the way that how many people say I'm gonna make it as a Twitch streamer, like it's almost like it's or a TikToker or whatever, and influencers. It's almost like, you know, remember the 90s trope of that hopeless person who thinks I'm gonna move to Hollywood and make it as an actor or an actress. And then now, like, the modern version is becoming the social media person, the streamer. So I kind of find that quote, you know, so relevant, despite the fact he probably said it, you know, who knows, 30 years ago. Rick's Museum. I saw this bar, went into this bar. I had to have a beer. Come on, how do I not have a beer at a place with this name? It's almost like they made it for me. I even walked in, and they were saying, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, good. I'm Adam. And I, like, pointed up. And they're like, huh? Adam. Damn. They're like, oh! And I was like, yeah, I'll get a beer. And I'm like, okay, here you go. But I walked past this on my... Oh, no, this was on my way to dinner. So I went to this really nice barbecue restaurant, again, because I needed something that had flavor. You won't guess what this is. This is cornbread with anchovies. And then there was a honey butter underneath the anchovy. Kind of see it. Absolutely delicious. It was all small plates, really, at this restaurant. Second most expensive place I ate at, probably. But worth every penny. I adored it. Sitting outside with the candle on the street. It was so quiet on this street, too. It was a very nice vibe. Pork belly skewer with shallots and some kind of green chili. I can't remember exactly which kind of... I think it was a Turkish pepper, actually. Then I got more, I don't know, yellowfin. I can't remember if this is this sashimi? About this sashimi. The orange stuff is a mango puree, and then you have the red chilies on a parsley. And then whatever this was delicious. I don't even know what that, like, sauce it was in. Unbelievable. This was like their take on a pina colada. Crushed cucumber salad, delicious. And then barbecue duck breast. No, this was the Turkish pepper. And then pickled cherry. And oh man, that duck breast was so good. I could have ordered 4 plates of that duck breast, man. It was unbelievable. So good. And then for dessert was creme brulee, and it was a very salty creme brulee, and it was topped with popcorn. So that was a really nice little dessert. And then we come to the red light district. This is the only picture I took of the red light district, guys, because it is something. It is a sight to see. Also, I forgot to mention it, but I think, or maybe I did. I went surfing on that surfing thing in Rotterdam. Can't remember if I mentioned it. The water in this canal made me think. Guys, the red light district fucking rules. That's just so fun, so different, so foreign, you know, for what, compared to us and what we live in and go through and all that. Like, I actually really love. I just walked around it for about 90 minutes. First of all, I had a fucking hard time finding it, weirdly, because it's not really tagged on Google, you know what I mean? So I was walking around like just away from it, and I couldn't find it. So I asked these locals, I'm like, yo, where's the red light district at? And they were like, oh, yo, we'll show you. So they kind of walked me closer. They're like, okay, you see that church? And I'm like, yeah, it's on the other side of the church. I'm like, okay, cool. And if you walk to the other church, I'm like, yeah, you've gone too far. The red light district is between both churches. And I'm like, Okay, Amsterdam, I see how you fucking roll. But man, it is wild walking around, going past sex clubs where you have to bring your wife in with you or a partner. You know, it's couples only in there. And there's a lineup and people are going in and paying to go into this sex club. There are sex clubs where you can get like a room that has like a sort of see-through window. Not a totally see-through window, like you can't really see details, but you can kind of see the people are in there. And you can bang your wife in that window while strangers can walk by, like it's got a super heavy tint on it. There's the swingers clubs. There's the strip clubs. There's the, you know, like all sorts of this stuff. And it was just wild, and it was just so out in the open. And the people going to it, like, there's no like shame. You know what I mean? Like nobody's no one's hiding the fact they're going to these places, which I thought again was just so different, so interesting, and just cool to see. The other thing you can't I don't really have any of them here, but you can Google the red light windows, and the red light windows are the ladies who rent windows and they wear their lingerie, and you can walk by. And if you wanted, any lady that's got her light on, you can go up to her, talk to her about what you want to do, and have a very nice evening together for a certain amount of time. And again, it's rows and rows and rows of these. They're everywhere. It's so funny. There'll be like a burger place, 6 red light windows, Italian restaurant, 4 red light windows, sex club, pharmacy. Probably a good thing to have if you're sex club, like red light window. Like it's crazy. And I walked down this street multiple times in daylight, had no fucking clue that all of this was here. It's somehow when the neon lights are turned off, you're not gonna notice. It's really crazy how once the lights go on, it's a beacon, but when the lights are off, it just seems like any normal street in Amsterdam. Now, I didn't partake in any of this, obviously. Although, chat, I will admit, one of the windows I walked by had a lady in it, and she waved at me, and I looked and smiled at her. It was just basically what I did to everybody. And then she bit her finger at me and gave me one of these. Kind of gave me one of those, and then gave me a look with this. And I didn't go, but fuck if I didn't stop for 5 seconds and think about it. Oh my god, I don't know how she did it. Because I walked past all the other ones, and I saw the ladies with their boobs and their lingerie, and their, you know, their smiles, and the way they kind of wave at you, and wink at you, and stick their butt out as you walk by and stuff. I was just like, nice to see that. Oh, that's cool. Okay, hey, good for you. I saw the windows that had like the lady boys, like I don't know exactly what the word is, but you know, the boobs and the penis. There was, if you wanted that, there was some you could find that had that going on. But man, that one girl, she made me think about it, man. And my plan was just to keep walking the whole time. Just walk. Don't look up. Don't get distracted or anything like that. But when she gave me that, I stopped and I had to think about it. She would get... If you guys have seen... You guys have probably heard me describe my type. You've seen the women I go for in the games we play. She was straight out of one of those, man. Like, oh... Oh, jeez, I'm just thinking about her. She was, like I said, she had me thinking about it. And she had me thinking about it so much that I eventually, before I left the red light district, go back, I was like, I want to walk by her window one more time, just to see her again. So I walked past her window again, light was off, curtain was closed, and I was like, oh, well, good for her. She's got some business tonight. Oh. One of the other funny things that I saw at the windows too was a girl got her Uber Eats delivered to her window. And so like, yeah, like She just all of a sudden, oh, like the Uber Eats guy's walking down with the bag, and she just sticks her hands out, opens the window, grabs her Uber Eats bag, waves by, closes her curtain, shuts the light off. I was like, oh, that's funny. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It was just kind of funny. How do I fumble the lady? I didn't fumble her. I didn't want to pay. I didn't want to partake. I wanted to window shop. That's all I wanted to do, man. I wasn't interested in anything else. Really wasn't. Like I said, I wanted to walk through it. You know what was really fucked up about the red light district? And I'm talking about a place where there's hookers, probably pimps involved, strippers, sex clubs, swinger clubs, kink clubs, fetish clubs. There was one place advertised their S&M lessons. You know, couple places. You know what was the most fucked up part? This is 11:30 at night. There are people walking around with their fucking kids. And I was like, that's, like, what the fuck are you doing? And, like, there's one dad was walking down the street with his son or daughter, and they were wailing, crying, because they were probably so fucking tired they just wanted to go to bed. It's 11:30 at their night, but dad's got to walk through the red light district and see some fucking titties. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Absolute insanity. Crazy. Like actually, like, irresponsible and ridiculous. And if it was up to me, there would be someone on the street saying, buddy, get the fuck out of here. Take your kid home. I didn't fumble. I don't know why you think I fumbled. I just, like, didn't want to pay, I don't know, like 120 euros. I was very happy not getting into this. Like I said, window shopping only for this guy. So, the place I stayed was in the Rembrandt Plaza, which was pretty cool. It was a very lively area. And I don't know if it was 120. I don't know what the price is. I've heard there was lots of ranges. The tour guides talked about it. The swinger couple told me about some of the price ranges. Some of the, like, windows would be, you know, like part of a building. And one of them had prices on the outside. So imagine all the girls are really contracted to that building. And the cheapest stuff was like fondly type stuff, you know, touchy. And most of that started at 30, and then it was going up from there. So I just wasn't into it. But the Rembrandt Plaza, Hotel NH Schiller, where I stayed, it was amazing. I loved my time there. It was right in the kind of heart of it. 15-20 minute walk anywhere, no hassle. And like I said, it was a very lively space even during the day and during the night. So my last meal though in Amsterdam, guys, because now the trip's coming to a close, I didn't know what I wanted. I walked around for a while because I couldn't figure out what I wanted. There was a restaurant I wanted to go to. Google said it was open. They weren't open. Well, gotta grab some lunch. Castro, it sure did, buddy. It absolutely sure did. Sorry I didn't respond to you in Discord on that. I send you a message later in Discord on it. I'm just focused on getting this whole stream out so that we can get onto Dad's Simulator on Monday. But I was walking around, I couldn't figure out where to eat, and I was like, I don't really know if I want fried food. But then I see this food truck, and there's a lot of people around it, and the guy working the food truck is fucking yelling at everybody. And it was so funny. Like, the guy was so mad because, like, he'd walk up and he's like, what you want? Okay, your order? Okay, here's your number. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. No, next customer. And then, like, somebody walked up, when's my order today? It's ready when it's ready. Next customer. And he was like, and he's treating the people like this, and everybody's still lining up. I'm like, okay, the fish and chips from this truck have to be fucking banging. And sure enough, they were fucking banging. The sauce there was a sriracha mayo. They called it samurai sauce. It was so fucking good. And plus Fanta in Europe, man. Fanta in Europe tastes so much better than Fanta back here. Like, Fanta in Europe tastes like a sparkling orange juice, kind of. Fanta here tastes just like an orange soda. So I love me some Fanta. And then, take off. Flying through the air. Saying goodbye to the Netherlands. Oh, by the way, European airports have that shit down to an efficient science. Oh my god. You don't want to know how long it took me to check in and clear security? 7 fucking minutes. That's including bag drop. 7 minutes. Your flight's at 3 o'clock? When is baggage drop close? 2 o'clock? Show up at like fucking 1:45. You're set. It was crazy how efficient it was. Do you know how clearing customs was? You know what? You guys probably know what clearing customs is going to the U.S. Body scan, facial scan. We're gonna read all your documents. We're gonna give you a quiz and talk to you, and then we're gonna groan and let you through begrudgingly to let you into America. Customs in Europe. Scan your passport on the machine. Thumbs up. Okay, have a good time here. God, I love traveling Europe. Fuck it. I actually have no desire to go back to the U.S. One buddy was asking me about it. I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, what would we do? He's like, well, I don't know. Just go there. I'm like, no, let's go to fucking Mexico. Go to Jamaica. I have no desire to go to the U.S. There's nothing in the U.S. right now that draws me, especially with everything that's going on, you know. There's the coast. Goodbye, coast. Goodbye, coast. Goodbye, coast. And I'm back fucking home. Oh, man. I miss this trip. I miss it so much already. Yeah, the Fanta is much less sugary in Europe. Like I said, it's so much more closer to a juice than it is a pop soda. And you know what sucks so much? Because I was talking about, oh, you come out of these train stations and these airports and it's in this beautiful architecture and it's clean and this and that. Fucking land in Edmonton. The grass is brown for some goddamn reason, despite the fact it's been raining all summer. I go clear customs because I've got my Nexus. Clear customs like that. But then it took my bag 40 minutes to come down the fucking carousel. So that didn't even really matter. I walk out of the airport to go to the shuttle. What's the first thing I smell? Piss. What's the second thing I smell? Cigarettes, but not the gnarly ones smoked in Europe by hot people. What's the first thing I see? A fucked up construction tarp covering something. What's the second thing I see? Looked like a puddle of vomit. So then I go back, get on the shuttle, go to my car. Doesn't want to start because it's been sitting for three and a half weeks or whatever. Finally fucking starts. I'm driving home. Hit the QE2. Fucking construction. It's closed down to 1 lane. So now this 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer section is going to take 25 minutes to clear. Finally get through Edmonton. More fucking construction before I cross the river. Finally cross the river. Come up the way where I am. Nick, you know the left turn where you kind of can take to get into my place? Fucking collision. So I can't even get into my parking lot and park my car. Because some guy who was pulling out and a guy who was pulling in hit each other. So now the only entrance to my parking is closed. So I gotta park on the fucking street. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to show you guys. Make sure your wheels on your suitcase have hard tires. Because I have soft wheels or soft tires on my suitcase. And fucking mangled. Absolutely fucking mangled. 2 of them. Absolutely fucking mangled. Adam, how did these get mangled? Well, cobblestone and brick streets are old as fuck and uneven as hell. And if you're pulling your suitcase 10-15 minutes down that, well, you're prone to rip up the soft, cushiony tire of your large suitcase. And then it's going to get all torn up and start dragging. You're going to be left on the going home with 2 good wheels left. So. But that's the trip, guys. I don't really think I missed anything.
Venice, yes, exactly.
Here's another video on the boat. But yeah, man, it was an amazing vacation. If anybody's watching this whole thing, you need you need recommendations, you have questions about anything else I didn't discuss, or even about the things I did discuss, just let me know. I'd love to give advice. Oh, this was the catering being brought onto the plane. I thought that was kind of neat to watch the scissor lift. There's me inside the thing. Yeah, it's a really fun show and tell, and I was just glad to talk about it. Glad to talk about it, you know what I mean? What the fuck is this? Why is this in the gallery? Why is this in my gallery? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Stream's over. That's it. That's what we're ending on. YouTube, thanks for watching. Twitch, thanks for hanging out. This was a 5-hour stream where we preamble chatted. We fucked up my Love is Blind application because we took too damn long and I'm going to have to redo it with all the stupid chat answers. And then we talked about my Europe trip for God knows how long. Thank you so much for paying attention, following along, chatting, being attentive. If this is background noise, that's amazing. But like I said, everyone, thanks so much. I'm so happy to be back. And yeah, Pragmata Monday. Come check it out. And I don't know what else we're going to get up to.